Okay, we are live. Button is red now, actually, so that must mean we'll go. So, welcome everyone to the Xbox Live Party Podcast, episode 24, I believe it is this week. And a big hello to all of our regulars. My name's Ash. Today we are joined by pretty much the whole gang this week. We've got Alucard, we've got the Jinner Gaming, we've got Slayer Exclusive Gaming, we've got KY Bob, we've got Fabio turning up at some point later today, and we are joined by a very special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself for everyone watching at home?
Not really, because the law's looking for me. I mean, hi, I'm Jimmy. I don't know what you want me to say. I'm a long-time gamer, first-time watcher. No, I'm kidding. I've been part of Xbox since the beginning, and I am an Xbox ambassador and a community champion. I don't know what that means. It's a title they threw at me. Yeah. And that's it. I've just been around a long time in different ways, shapes, and forms. And I am a disabled gamer, and that's going to be my primary focus for the show today. We'll talk about that later. Other than that, I don't know what you want to know. I don't like long walks on the beach. I'm not very good at it. But if you want to buy me dinner, I'm okay with
that. We've designated Fabio for dinner buy-in, so.
Yeah. Feel Fabio after.
He never replied to that in the private messages, Fabio. Like when I tagged him in it. But yeah, so we'll jump straight in, as we always do. We will talk about what we have been playing this week. And before we jump into that, we have got 2 copies of Monster Prom for Xbox One and obviously Xbox Series X and S. I will be putting them up, and the codes will be down below throughout the episode. So stick around. If you're in the comments, you're watching live, just stick that code in and you'll get yourself a game. First come, first serve. So we'll jump into what we've been playing. I'm going to go first because I always go last, but I haven't really played much this week, so I'm going to get myself out of the way. Main game this week is Quantum Break. I've finally decided to try it after about 2 years of going, I really want to play that. And yeah, it's really, really good so far. I'm on Act 5 of 5, I believe. So I've just started the last section. It plays really well. The gunplay's awesome. The story's pretty cool. And the live action, 25-minute episodes split between each act are really interesting. My only downside to it is the forced platforming sections that are a bit iffy. And I just take it out of the game for me a little bit. But it's enjoyable. I'm enjoying it. But if you haven't played it, it's on Game Pass. I highly recommend it. It's only about a 10-hour game, so jump in and play that. But other than that, I've played Halo 2 with Fabio, and I haven't played a lot this week. What about you, Bob? What have you been playing?
To touch on your Quantum Break experience, did you download the video pack?
Yes.
That is and there's nothing like playing a game and then sitting through a 45-minute video until you get to the next part. I mean, it is definitely the predecessor to Death Stranding.
It's a weird one. You can play the game without watching the videos because the game is from the main character's perspective, and the videos are from the organization you're dealing with internal sort of perspective. And I thought I like that. So if you just want to play the game, you could skip all the videos and just play the game, and you wouldn't be any worse off. You just get a weird bit of backstory, and there's man trying to save his wife who I think you see once in the game. I don't know if he's in the last chapter, but I haven't seen him since chapter 1. And some of the other characters, and it's got a really great cast. It's got Littlefinger from Game of Thrones and one of the Hobbits. I'm terrible with names. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I mean, that game, as much as it was sitting there and watching a movie, I found it more interesting than I can't get through any of the like Yakuza games because they're like that too, but I can't get as drawn into the story.
Yeah, I'm playing.
I can't do Yakuza, but I can do that game.
Yeah, I've played Yakuza 0 and it's very long.
Yeah.
So
my first time was playing Quantum Break 2 was last week. That's funny. Wow.
It's been on my list for ages, and I am like the biggest Alan Wake fan. So I've played Alan Wake to death. I'm so sad we've never got a sequel. I've wanted to play Quantum Break for ages, but I think I just never got into it because I was so salty it wasn't Alan Wake 2. And I was like, I'm not playing that, it's not Alan Wake. And now I've bought Control in the sale a couple of weeks back, and I'm like, I'll play Quantum Break, and then I'm going to jump into like the Control Ultimate Edition. But
Nice.
it's not Alan Wake, but it's all right. I'd rather it be Alan Wake, but I'll take it. It's a good game. It's one of those. I'll probably never play it again. I'll probably never replay it, or not for a long time. But it's fun, and I've quite enjoyed it, and it is a really good production value. It looks fantastic. So try that on Game Pass if you haven't.
Yeah. Wait till you get to the last boss on Quantum Break.
That's what I'm just about to come to, I assume.
So, besides the touching on Quantum Break, I've been playing Master Chief Collection. I've been playing Open Country. I've been finishing up some old achievements on Zombie Army 4. And if anybody saw my tweet yesterday, I've started playing Microsoft Flight Simulator on my PC. I'm shocked to death it runs on my 9-year-old PC as well as it does now. Maybe it didn't a few months ago before the changes and the improvements. And I got a cool reply from the Xbox Twitter account on my tweet yesterday. I was excited. I was running around, jumping around the house like a little kid. Like my favorite team acknowledged my existence. You know, I was just a little kid in me came out. And other than that, I mean, I've just been playing Microsoft Flight Simulator so that I get I have a good comparison base for when I play it on console.
Nice. And I forgot to mention, we did actually finally play a game of Halo with you as well, didn't we, this week? So
Yes.
At long last, we finally actually all game together, like including Bob for a change.
What I need to know is who is better, Slayer or Bob?
Slayer. Sorry, Bob. Slayer.
Oh no!
Slayer destroyed all of us in the end. I thought I was doing well until Slayer joined, and then it all went downhill from there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Well, we'll continue with you, Slayer. What have you been playing?
Well, other than Halo with you guys, I finished off Biomutant. Long game, but it was, the ending was a little bit weird. I have to say. I'm not like it was kind of open ended a little bit. Kind of ended up on a cliffhanger in my opinion. But overall decent game. And then I finished off the Pirates of Life DLC and Sea of Thieves finally. That was pretty cool. I like the ending, but I have to say, if you haven't played it solo, do not do that because the last mission is not a solo endeavor at all. That was rough. I managed it, but it took me probably maybe an hour longer than it should have.
Wow.
Because I was like, I almost got stunk like maybe 5 times. I was like dealing with like 6 holes at once in my sloop, and managing more of like not sinking and taking the water out and plugging those holes up than anything else.
Yeah, and you probably missed most of it then.
Yeah, the NPCs kind of finished everything for me, because you do get some help.
Me and Fabio played that co-op, and I thought that was probably the easiest of all of them in co-op.
Yeah.
It was so easy. So
yeah,
obviously it's because I must admit though, it was mainly me patching up and shooting while he was aiming the vessel while we were going in the right direction. But
doing all that by
I
yourself, not fun, not easy. Especially when you have Jack Sparrow in the background, like, come on, kill them, destroy them, and I'm just like, why don't you do something then? Instead of just standing there, yelling orders at me while I'm doing everything, freaking steering the ship, plugging the holes up, taking the water out. It was crazy.
I must say though, Jack Sparrow has amazing aim on that last Tall Tale.
He does, actually.
We just had him on the ship at the beginning before he disappears off his ship, and we were using him to take everything down. He was taking the mermaid statues, he was taking the other ships. He never missed, and he never used any ammo.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
So,
which kind of sucks though, because if you're trying to go for the commendations, he actually takes away your progress. Like if he lands the last hit, it doesn't count towards your journal progress, which kind of sucks. But definitely have to do it over because I since I really couldn't destroy them myself, I barely got any progress on those commendations. And then other than that, play some indie games and pretty much we played Grounded that one day. I think it was like last Saturday, and that was kind of fun. And then played a bit of Dying Light. Almost done with that game for the second time, so pretty excited about that. Yeah, that's about it.
What about you, Jenna?
You know.
Oh, he's gone quiet. He's muted himself.
I went to hit mute and I ended up hitting settings, and this whole new screen came up on Discord I've never been to before. And then I accidentally revealed my potato. So this week I've been playing a lot of Doom Eternal with the ray tracing enabled, the new patch that is excellent. A Plague's Tale, which I'm really enjoying. That's a great game. I played some Warzone, which I'm not a big fan of, but for some of the videos I've been recording this week, I let people choose what I'm playing, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. I was doing the 2-on-2 mode where you can, not 2-on-2, you drop in teams of 2 on the small island, and you can buy each other back in and respawn. That was actually quite fun, considering I'm not normally a big Call of Duty fan. And I played some Deep Rock Galactic the other night, and it was good to get back into that because I haven't played that for a long time, and it's just such a fun game to pick up. Not much else. I haven't really played anything. I'm one of the since I got my Series X, I made a resolution once I start a game I'm going to finish it, which means I spent most of the week getting up early when my alarm went off and meaning to start Falconeer and then deciding not to and go back to sleep because that's more rewarding. That's about it. There's a couple of games I've started which are awful, and I have to drag myself through them because I've kind of made myself a promise, and I just find myself going back to bed instead of playing them. So that's my week. I've played 2 games I really like, and other ones I'm just not willing to drag myself through.
What about you, Alucard?
Well, I played a new game that dropped on Game Pass called Blood Roots, and it's like a interesting game. It's like over the top, kind of like, I think it's like a roguelike, because when you die you go back to like this certain area that you like, it's kind of like you go on like on a run. And that one's really cool because the environments are like destructible, a lot of it. So like you might hit someone and they fly into a house and the house collapses. So it's pretty cool game. It's like an indie game, but it's like it's a really bloody too. It's a gory game. And then I was back to
the game. Now you got my attention. Now I'll have to check it out.
yeah, it's interesting because it's like, I don't know, it's kind of like a silly game, but like I guess you're supposed to take it seriously. But I kind of like, because it's kind of ridiculous, like people flying into houses and the houses collapsing on them, so it's kind of like over the top. But that's what makes it cool.
Makes me think
then I
of
went.
Bulletstorm. Did you ever play Bulletstorm? That was one of my favorite games.
Yeah, that's
How to
kind
Kill
of like
People
ridiculous.
was one of the things for getting, achievements.
This is more of a melee, so using like, and you have to find weapons. So you can use like weapons that are or things that aren't really weapons, but you could turn them into weapons, like maybe like a log or like a fence or ladder you could use as a weapon. If you
Nice.
you can find an axe, stuff like that, and then everything breaks, so your weapons break really fast. So that's kind of frustrating. And then I went back.
So I've seen people sharing videos of this on Twitter, and it looks really good. And a lot of people
Yeah.
comment that it looks like if Tarantino made a game in terms of the amount of violence and gore on there. It looks great.
It's action packed. So but the fact that you keep on dying, you get hit one time, you die.
Wow, yeah, that
So
can get frustrating.
I'm kind
That's
of like
Hotline Miami. You have one hit and you're dead.
Oh, is that what yeah, that game looks interesting too. I went back to Fallout 4 for some reason. I don't know why, but because I used to play the game and I got bored, and then I went back to it now.
Hey, it's a good game.
But yeah, I mean, I love that game, but it's like I played it for like too much. Well, the mods make it really good. The modding community is so good with that game. That's the reason why I got Xbox One, because of the modding community. Because for Fallout 4 and Skyrim, the mod support is like excellent on there. So, and then
just because it's not
tried...
better than Fallout 3 doesn't mean that it's not a bad game, and that's not a good game.
Yeah, I mean, Fallout 4, they took out a lot of RPG elements. That's what people don't like about it, because it's more of like a action game, I guess now, a shooter. I tried Space Jam, and I thought it was a pretty good like brawler, but
Nice.
I thought it was okay.
It's not bad for free, is
Oh.
it? You can't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not better than like Streets of Rage
No.
4 or anything like that, but
Imagine if it
Like-
was, though. Bugs Bunny better than Streets of Rage. That'd be amazing.
That would
I
be
think-
mind blowing.
Now, we had a chat
Battletoads, I
about
think,
this,
is
Gina.
better.
You showed me a load of
We
the
did.
pictures that they were using. Like, you could. It was a competition. This was designed, or it was based on sort of game ideas by fans.
Yeah.
And out of all of these cool ideas, there was like side-scrolling, there was like turn-based combat, there was all sorts. There was mini games.
Dance mat version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they picked the generic side-scrolling beat-em-up version. Obviously, I think they already had that planned, but it's just a
Yeah.
very odd.
I think the way they did it was they were always going to release the side-scrolling game, but they released assets so people could make their version of what they would want the game to be and give a prize for whoever had the best version. But then when the game got unveiled and announced, they shared all these screenshots, so it made it look like there was going to be variety. Like you were going to be a JRPG, the one bit looked like, another bit looked like a dance mat game with quick time reactions and Space Channel 5, and then when you played it, it's a poor Streets of Rage. Like,
Yeah.
they shared all
Probably
these
the
screenshots
easiest-
for no reason.
Probably
I
the
wanna say
easiest
that,
one to make. So.
playing Grounded with everybody, that's a lot of fun, and I want to play it more now. Now that I got to play with other, like in a group, that's what the game's meant for. By yourself, it's kind of boring, but with other people, man, is that a good game?
Yeah, it was good fun,
And I
wasn't it?
I just want to point out that Bob is almost giving up on the podcast because he already picked up his controller. So I'm just loving that. Like he just, oh yeah, I'm totally into this. Yeah.
Outriders is not going to grind itself, you know?
I love you,
Yeah.
Bob.
It gives me the opportunity to do the things that, like look, make sure there's no updates, see what's new in Game Pass. Usually when I get to my console, I'm like, all right, I'm on a mission. I know exactly what I'm going to do. And this gives me the opportunity to just be kind of nonchalant and go through everything.
No worries, I'm just kidding. It's okay. But do continue, please.
Half the time when I'm on a show, I'm playing on my Xbox at the same time. I'm listening and
Yeah, a lot of people do that. But have you guys ever
Nobody
played
seems to care enough for the podcast.
have you guys ever played For Honor, like the multiplayer?
Yes, and I sucked.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty
I
brutal.
sucked so bad.
Right now, is it pretty fun right now? Because right now, For Honor, the complete edition is for sale.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is it worth it?
But I think it's fun. But I mean, there's like the game that's just like it is what, Chivalry 2?
Yeah,
That
and that's
game's
just
just
come out
like
now,
it.
hasn't it? That's the big
I'm
one.
sure that's probably better because you can actually, you can get your arm cut off and still fight in Chivalry 2.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
it's just a flesh wound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to play it now. I want to see, but that game was sounding annoying because I hear everybody like yelling in that game. It's all like, "Rah!"
Yeah,
I'm just
you
like-
have your knights have a battle cry, and the battle
Yeah.
cry gives them health, and all your friendlies around you. It also increases their health too. Gets everybody pumped up and heals them.
okay. That's I don't
But
know.
I mean, that ability has to charge up though over time,
Oh, okay.
so it's not constant yelling and screaming.
That's what the gameplay I saw was. I was like, I don't want to hear people yelling for all the time. My God, it's like.
I think every
I'll
game,
just
if you
sum
do an
up
attack,
again.
you should scream when you attack. That's it. Like, "Rah!"
Yes.
Like, let's
Otherwise,
just-
it does more damage if you scream it out.
Right?
Yeah.
Alucard, are you a IGN reviewer? 2 out of 10, too much screaming.
It's almost screaming. Well, yeah, if something's annoying, it's like I'm either gonna like, if there's an option to turn something off, I'd probably just turn it off or whatever. But like I don't know what it is, man. There's certain sounds that like get to me. That's just how it is sometimes.
I know you guys loved it, but Sea of Solitude did that to me when that woman starts screaming when you're trying to aim the beams. Oh, it made me just want to rip my dick off and throw it in the river. I could not take that sound.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
it just grated my soul.
That is an overreaction on it. Video like
Yeah.
Horrific.
You
That
know-
sounds horrific.
That seems more painful.
That's like I didn't want to throw my controller at the TV. I wanted to. Jeez, man. That's next level.
You can replace it
There
with
is
a
this-
potato.
I'm
It's
more
fine.
worried about the educational system of the UK if he thinks he listens with his dick.
There's something strange going on there.
Oh, it
I
started
wonder
good
why.
today, then, hasn't it?
It's like that's as strange as the Aussie saying of "I'm not here to fuck spiders." Like what? I don't know if you guys ever heard that one. Yeah, I saw that like on a YouTube video recently from Alana Pierce. Like she does like her documentaries now, and like there was this one part where she was talking about like Aussie, like sayings, and she's like, yeah, one of my favorite ones is "I'm not here to fuck spiders," which is basically like I'm not here to fuck around, but it's like what? So weird, but yeah, it's funny.
I would appreciate her saying that to me. I'd be honest. I think one of my.
I think we all would.
Are you talking about Ozzy Osbourne? She's talking about. Right.
What's going on? You've got to
Yeah,
love the Australian
this is not what
accent. It's
I
amazing.
This is not what I expected.
Yeah. Oh. What have you been playing this week, Paul? Anyway.
Gee, I don't know what have I. A lot of Red Dead Redemption. Red Dead Redemption 2 actually went back to it. Because I
Great
just moved here last week, and then they broke my monitor, so I got my new monitor last Monday. So I've been breaking it in. So a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2. I played a lot of Forza last night with the community game night.
Nice.
Which is always fun. And what else have I been playing? I do a lot of PGA Tour 2K21 or 2K21. That's fun. Yeah, because it's a relaxing game. It's a game I can play without having to focus. And
When
ahead.
in the world is when the Fork Boy? When is he going to set up another tournament? Did they just they just left that?
Yeah, I know. Both the groups I'm in, Xbox group did the same thing. It's hard to get them to set up tournaments and stuff. I think just remind him that hey, we're still out here. We'd like to play.
It's because
It's
we
like
got
as soon
cheated
as-
out of our Halo wins. That's why they haven't done another.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's like as soon as EA said they were coming out with another PGA Tour, everybody stopped playing 2K21.
And 2K21 is better than what EA puts out, as far as I'm concerned at this point. The last one EA did was the Rory McCallum one a few years back,
Yeah.
which was okay. I mean, the thing about the EA one is you can actually control the spin of the ball while it's in the air. Okay, so
That and the
remember-
EA one, EA
Physics.
has all the licenses for all
Yeah.
the gear, so you can actually put a set of clubs together that actually resemble your clubs in real life. But with the 2K21, you're kind of restricted on the brands that they have available.
yep.
Damn.
Which for me doesn't bother me. I mean, it's not like I'm a real life golfer, though I have been out to a lot of golf courses because I used to take pictures with a group of guys that used to go out every weekend and raise money for charities and stuff. So I pretty much have peed on a tree in every golf course in the Houston area. So
There you go.
yeah, I've marked my territory. I know where to go. And I know I've been playing other stuff, but I'm one of those people, you ask me that question and I can probably list actually about 20, 10, 15 games that I've put in during the last week. Just because I'm very almost ADHD with games. Let's do this for a while. Well, let's do this for a while. I actually put in because of what we're going to talk about later, I put in the original Psychonauts. Okay, invincibility or not, there's a lot of other things I'm going to have trouble with the new Psychonauts. That I'm the platforming. Oh, I hate platforming. But I'll play it anyway because I've been so outspoken. I'm gonna go through Psychonauts 2 if it kills me, and it might. So
I can't wait for Psychonauts 2. It's
Yeah,
37
that looks great.
achievements.
Has it been confirmed yet?
No, not yet. I'm still waiting to be proven wrong or correct. But
about what? About the achievements?
that there's going to be 37 of them.
Oh,
Ash is an insider.
and they have said that the invincibility mode will not stop the achievements.
Yeah,
So
which is fantastic. And more
Yeah.
games should do that, I think. So
yeah.
We'll talk
Let's
about
wait
that.
to talk about that. Yeah, let's wait to talk about that when we get to
Uh-huh.
that topic.
Yeah, I know.
We are just skipping
We're not
everything
there
right
yet.
now.
Slow down.
Oh,
You should have
real
turned up on time,
topics.
Fabio. You lost all rights then. So, what have you been playing this week, Fabio? Anyway, like now you're here.
So I've been playing Halo. I played with Ash, Slayer, and Bob some Halo multiplayer matches. It was really fun. It was really awesome. I also played Halo 2 Legendary Campaign, the second level of the campaign with Ash. We somehow managed to finish that and kill the sniper jackals. And it's funny because the second level is not that hard in comparison with the first one. I had this impression, to be honest, but it is hard still. I also played a little bit of Sea of Thieves, replaying Skyrim at 60 FPS thanks to the FPS boost. I'm loving it. It's really awesome. And I've been playing a little game that I just got into Game Pass that is called Blood Roots. Something like that. Really well
Yep.
done, really like kind of a arcade game with isometric view where
An echo in you.
What?
Just mention that
What?
game.
Yeah, Alucard. Because before you got here, Alucard was just saying the exact same thing, basically.
Alright, said. Fair enough,
I just started installing Blood Roots.
I've done the
Nice.
same.
Really
I've done it
fun.
on my phone, just so you get the reward.
It's really fun,
for the moment.
Yeah.
and for what
Oh
and for
yeah,
what
I
I
should
saw,
have done that.
like it's really fun. For what I saw, it's pretty easy to get achievements on it. Like I already got 1/3 of it, and I started playing yesterday.
Oh,
so
Slayer's
You got
like,
Ash's
boom.
attention. And mine, yeah.
Fabio,
yeah,
isn't it
that's
cool?
for me.
Fabio, isn't it cool when you like hit someone and they like fly into a house or something like that? You ever did that?
What?
When you hit
What?
someone and they
Like,
if you
what?
hit someone and they like fly into a house or whatever, or you can jump on something and like you can jump on like a cart and it moves around and it hits people.
Oh yeah,
Isn't
yeah.
that cool? Yeah, the
Fabio's doing
environment
the
is
passive playthrough.
yeah,
Like
the
running around.
environment.
Like
You can use the environment as a
can,
weapon.
like
Right.
everything from the environment you can use it to
Yeah.
kill somebody. Like literally
Yeah.
everything. It's just
Yeah.
really well done and pretty simple.
Yeah, you can like shoot something and make things explode, and then the house falls down, stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And that's it for me. Simple as
That's
that.
it for you.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Well,
That's the co-host participation.
that's it. Yeah. Well, we'll jump straight into the news then. It doesn't sound like we've all played a huge amount this week compared to normal, so that's pretty cool. Let's jump straight in. Unfortunately, we'll start with the unfortunate side of COVID news. There's been a ton of game delays announced this week. So it started with sort of like Resident Evil Reverse getting delayed till next year, the month it was supposed to come out after being delayed already. And there was a great cry of sadness by no one that it's been delayed because no one wants to play it. There was the Warhammer Darktide that's been hit by delays. Rainbow Six Extraction has. Is it whatever the Riders game is? I cannot remember the game of it. Riders Republic, has that been delayed as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lemnis Gate's
Sadly.
been delayed,
Sadly.
and Tokyo Ghostwire has been delayed. Just to name a handful that have been noticeable in the news this week. So
Wasn't there Warhammer Darktide as well?
yeah, Darktide, yeah, and yeah, so it's an unfortunate time. It's expected though with all this sort of COVID related. We're just sort of seeing it now. I think these probably could have been announced sooner, but I think everyone's been trying to be as optimistic as possible of hitting the right amounts and stuff like that. So there's nothing you can do. It's just unfortunate. It's sad for PlayStation 5 owners because Tokyo looks great, and now that's next year. But
It's actually sadder for us, to be honest, because we still have to wait another
year
for it to come
afterwards,
out
yeah.
on Xbox. So, yeah.
But
That sucks.
yeah, it does suck. But I'd rather a good game come late than not come at all, basically. So, or come early and be absolutely shit.
When did Jim Ryan join the podcast? That was his exact quote this week.
Was it
wasn't
really?
In an interview, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. I've slowly been taken over by him. Sorry, guys. We'll jump into what new games have come to Game Pass this week. It's been another quiet week in that front. Obviously, what you guys have mentioned already, Blood
Well,
Roots.
before we jump, can I speak to the last thing real quick?
Yeah, of course you can.
Go on,
I
go
was
on.
just gonna say that, yeah, we were kind of expecting delays, and you mentioned, well, why they waited so long. I think they were probably really trying to see if they could get caught up, and the fact that things keep opening and closing again, and keep getting shut down, and that they can't get a real jive going sometimes. So they're better to say, hey, you know what, we're not going to try to push this. We're not going to do the big push at the end to try to get this stuff out there, because it's not worth it for them to get more bad press after what we dealt with CD Projekt Red and stuff.
Yeah.
What company wants to be the next company to put out a game that's clearly not ready?
Yeah.
Speaking of
No.
CD
I just
Projekt
have
Red,
a-
though, Cyberpunk was like top of the PlayStation Store this month after
Yeah.
Oh,
finally getting
nice.
re-released. So people obviously wanted to play it, and having all that hassle and all that negativity being taken off the store for about 6 months obviously isn't doing it any harm, though, because it's finally out. It's in a
Yep.
playable state now. They say they're happy that it still runs like shit, but it doesn't run as shit as it used to run. But clearly people are buying it, so
I saw a video this
Um,
week actually of the latest patch, and somebody calls their car in, and it spawns the other end of the street. And they run to their car, and it's on a hill, but it's perfectly horizontal, stuck in the ground. So they're looking at the car, and all of a sudden, a motorbike shoots out and kills them from the car. This is brilliant.
Jeez.
Like, you don't get those bugs in any other type of
Magic.
game.
I saw
Yeah,
one. I
magic.
saw one this week where it was like a police car or something. It was just spinning around a lamppost continuously. I'm like, that is
Wow.
amazing.
Oh, that
It's
reminds me of all
weird,
the
like,
Skyrim bugs. Have you guys ever seen that video where the guy's just walking around and there's like this dude on a horse, and he just yells at him like, "Hey!" and then he literally just starts spinning, like he's standing on the horse, and he just starts spinning on the horse around and around, and then like there's a bear that like comes up to like try to kill him, but I guess because of the bug, the bear doesn't know what the hell to do, so all you see is the bear just like following him with his eyes. So the bear's just like this, like looking at him as he's spinning around on the horse, and that. Oh man, that was a great glitch.
I've always wanted to
The
get
thing
into
about- I
Skyrim
don't know,
because of
it's so
the
weird.
mods. What were you going to say? Go on, Alucard.
Well, that's the mods can mess up the game even more sometimes. So,
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know
know.
if that was a modded version, but it was just his video I found on YouTube. My friend actually had a glitch where I don't know, you guys may be familiar with this one, where the dragons would be flying upside down all the time
I've seen
and like
that.
backwards sometimes. Yeah,
Wow.
it was so crazy.
I've never seen some of these glitches. It's weird how like not everybody has the same glitches, you know.
No, it's
Like,
fun though.
get it.
It's the Macho
Yeah.
Man mod that makes me that spider
Oh.
Macho Man thing. It's Macho
Oh,
Man
man.
Randy Savage's face and this like monster thing. It doesn't make any sense,
Yeah.
but it's absolutely fantastic. It
Yeah.
made
The
me want to
Thomas the
play
Train one?
Skyrim. Yeah, Thomas the Tank
Thomas-
Engine. Yeah.
for the dragons sounds hilarious.
Oh man, but yeah.
I am glad though that they're taking their time with Lemnis Gates. That's a game that I'm really looking forward to, and they've been showing some gameplay footage of it recently, and they were doing live streams, so it looked like he was ready to go, but clearly they've come across something which doesn't quite work and decided to delay instead of just chucking in and out and hoping they can patch it in time, which is good to see. It's only a month delay, I think, for that one.
Oh, that's not
Is that
too
like
bad.
a is that
That game
is that
looks
a just
intense.
is that a single player game or multiplayer? I don't even...
Multiplayer.
It's multiplayer.
Oh,
Every
okay.
round is 25 seconds, and you have multiple characters you can choose from. So, say for example, I was playing you. We both choose a character. There's a flag to capture. We go, I kill you, but when you're dead, you can still play out the rest of your 25 seconds. Because then on the next turn, you choose a different character, and you could then kill the person who killed you in the first round to save your character from the first round, who then gets to the flag. And you have like so many rounds like that. So it's like a turn-based real-time strategy game. It's hard to describe, but
Oh,
it looks
sounds
great.
Such a bizarre like concept, but it seems so crazy.
yeah, it looks really good. So you can chuck down toxic gas at the marker, but if somebody gets there, and obviously the toxic kills them, the next round they spawn in, they can kill you before you throw the toxic gas. So the next round, the toxic gas is near, and they can get the flag. It's really bizarre, but you're both going at the same time, playing out a 25-second loop.
Wow.
Yeah, it looks great. It's hard to describe.
Stubbs in the comments says Paul looks like he's dying again.
I think someone made him laugh whilst he was eating, and he was gone for a
Well,
while.
no, I've got that nagging cough that I can't control it. Sometimes it comes, sometimes it doesn't.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I had a coughing fit like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, or 3 episodes ago.
Yeah.
I couldn't even speak at the end of the episode. I just sort of had to be like, bye. It killed me. But yeah, we'll jump onto the Game Pass stuff. Like I said, Bloodroots is on cloud, console, and PC, so you can play it on everything. Medium is coming to cloud, which is ironic. It's coming out on cloud finally the same month it's coming out on sort of like PlayStation consoles. And Farming Simulator 19 is coming to cloud, console, and PC. So some big hitters this month. It's massive updates. As you can see, it's a big content drop of Game Pass. Obviously, this is just the lot of dregs before all these new releases land in the next couple of weeks. Lots of day ones coming. But yeah, not much to talk about. But obviously, Bloodroot sounds awesome. If you want something a bit slower, pick up Farming Simulator.
Dude, the end of this month is looking very bright for Xbox. On the 27th, we have Flight Simulator dropping. On
Ascent.
the 29th, we have the Ascent dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
It's going to be a good week.
There's that
Yeah.
Omni as
I
well,
just
isn't
wanna-
there, coming as well? I don't know if that's this month
Yes.
or early next month. That's a nice little looking indie game. It looked quite nice, that.
But you know
I
what's
don't know,
that's not in Game Pass that's coming out is Death's Door. That's not in Game Pass. I thought it was. I was
Death's Door.
mistaken.
I thought it was
Yeah.
coming
Okay,
to
I
Game
don't-
Pass Death's Door.
I don't think it is because I had to pre-order it. There was no option to download it.
I'll check. We'll check
Yeah.
that in a bit. But I'm sure.
Oh, you got to be
sure.
careful because sometimes they say it's going to be on Game Pass, but it's not available to pre-download. So it's actually going to come out
Oh.
on Game Pass day one. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So I don't. I'm
Well,
not sure if the game is actually going to come out on Game Pass or not. But that they do that sometimes. They have it on the store
Yeah.
for pre-order, but they don't put it on Game Pass before it comes out. Just not sure why, but
But you can already pre-download stuff that's coming out 4 months from now.
Yeah.
yeah, that's if they I think that the
No.
developer decides on that, whether they want to put it on Game Pass before it even comes out or or not. So
Yeah,
No.
some want to get
Well-
that early pre-order money in, and I understand it's a bit
Oh, yeah.
shady, but I do understand it from that sort of perspective.
Yeah, if
I
you
got
go
it
to
for $15.
If you
Looks
go to the
cool.
Game Pass tab on your dashboard, there is no category for coming soon. It's either there one day or it's not.
yeah.
I remember the worst example I had of games just about to launch was Planet Coaster. It wasn't announced it was coming to Game Pass. I pre-ordered it, and then the night before it came out, they put a tweet out saying it's coming to Game Pass.
Yeah,
Oh,
they do that
wow.
sometimes.
It's
Yeah.
such a fun
Yeah.
game. I was
Luckily,
the
they
same.
let you cancel within 2 days, so I managed to get my money back. But
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I was
Okay.
nearly 60 quid down on that one.
Yeah.
I bought the Falconer though. Didn't realise it was coming to Game Pass. So
Yeah.
Falconeer. Look, it was a choice of the Falconeer or the Coaster game. And I was like, well, the Falconeer is a bit cheaper. I'll get that first. But then luckily the Coaster game came out to Game Pass. But then they said the same with the Falconeer. I was like, and it's not no offense to the developers. It's not a good game. I've played it for about an hour, so I'd like my money back, please.
You're still in Ray Winston, Conor McGregor scene, as I like to call it, aren't you? With the
Yeah.
Cockney and the over-the-top Irish guy
I
speaking.
just had no idea what was going on, and I just if I'll play it eventually. It's on my backlog, but I'm not rushing to play it. There's too many actually good games. Speaking of Flight Sim, though, it's 97 gigs. I think it's going to be to pre-download for Xbox
97
consoles.
or 95, to be honest.
Yeah, somewhere around 95 or
Wow.
97 gigabytes, and
That's just the standard. That's just the standard too, not
Yep.
the extra content.
I just
Damn.
want to point out one thing. I don't know if Bob already mentioned, but he made a Twitter post yesterday
Yeah.
about Flight Simulator, and Xbox replied it. Just wanted to point out that.
he was so happy.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
He's now going
Cool.
to be known as KY Xbox Answer Me Bob. That's it.
By the way, that 97 gig is after they optimized it, guys, because it was bigger. I mean, they've even that was one thing I was gonna make because I knew this was gonna come up. They've even, because of what they had to do to optimize for the consoles, they've made that's when they optimized the one for the PC. So it's working hand in hand. It worked in everybody's favor. It's made the PC version much better than it was at launch.
Hey, so like, have you noticed that they separated extra content for games? Sometimes even new games, like Forza Horizon 5, you could just buy the extra content now separately right away.
Yep.
Because you're going to get it free in Game
Well,
Pass.
I did that with
standard, and then
Forza
you buy
Horizon 4. I bought the VIP upgrade, like the all the extra content, the DLC, the gold membership, and that. But I don't own the actual core game because it's on Game Pass. So I didn't have the money to buy the full thing. So I bought that. I've had all the DLC. I'll eventually, when it goes, because Forza games, they take them off the storefront eventually because of licensing and stuff. And they always do it at like an ultimate discount. I'll just pick it up then, before it goes off Game Pass, or the 20% off Game Pass, whenever it's about to leave. And I already have all the DLC. I mean, I've put 800 hours of me and my son into that between us. So I've got my money's worth out of Game Pass just from that alone. And I'll pick it up for like a $5 when it's just about to go off. But like I said, I bought that the day it came out. I bought the Ultimate thing. Same with Forza Horizon 5. I'm going to pre-order the Ultimate upgrade because I want all the extra content and stuff. Get a better deal. You get extra sort of XP and stuff like that, extra cars and that. And then I'll pick the game up when it's at a price I'm able to pay it one day, basically. Which is nice. I like when they do
discounted. That. Yeah, it's discounted already, the extra content.
Well, it will be because you get 20% off with Game Pass as well now. So
I think this is going to be the future where every game is going to have extra content that you have to buy separately. This is how they're going to make more money with Game Pass.
Oh, it makes sense.
It makes sense.
Not necessarily that you have to buy separately. I would say that where you have the option to buy separately. But games with like extra content and stuff.
Yeah, they're keeping it separate, a separate SKU.
Well, it's like, I've never paid for Forza Horizon 4, but I paid the $15 for the Lego expansion.
Exactly, see.
And I have no problem with that. And I have no problem with that. The Lego
I mean, I'll buy Forza every single time, man. I love that game. I will buy all of it, all the content. So
just like Paul was saying, the version of the base Forza Horizon 4 that I have is the Game Pass, but I paid for Fortune Island. I paid for the Lego Speed Champions, and I'm okay. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're still getting over $100 experience for just the cost of a couple. To cost a couple DLCs.
Yeah, and to be fair, by the time it eventually leaves, or if they delist it, you've probably played it the amount you're actually going to play it, because you're going to be then playing Forza Horizon 5. Do you know what I mean? So, yes.
Well, yeah,
you don't.
Yeah, with 5 coming out, 4's gonna,
Yeah, exactly. You can always buy it cheap, but like I say, I mean, I've done that. I'm exactly the same as you guys. I've bought all the DLC and stuff, and I've done it in other games as well. To be fair, Sea of Thieves, I've bought content, and I don't own the actual game yet. I play it on Game Pass. I don't own the core game. So I've done it with other games as well. I couldn't remember all of them off the top of my head, but it makes sense though, and it's another way for developers they're going to get extra income from those people who may not be able to afford a full game, and then an extra DLC. So they're getting the DLC sales and the money from Game Pass, and they're getting these extra players. So it's a win-win. It's a win-win for everyone.
For sure.
Now, I have seen one side, devil's advocate side to that they're going to say, well, they're going to stop releasing entire games and holding off sections and making them DLC or add-ons that you later purchase.
You could just make it a free-to-play game. Exactly the same, though, technically. So, fingers crossed that doesn't happen, though. I mean, we don't want it to go that way, but obviously, when it's the same as they've always been, it's not too bad.
I mean, isn't it like what everybody said when they first came out with DLCs for games? That, you're just selling us stuff that we should have got with the game originally. So people get accused of that anyways.
I don't know what you mean. Horse armor was a valuable extra purchase.
Some games
the
they
one I hear
genuinely did
is-
that though, didn't they?
The
It
one
was
I
just a
hear,
code
if
to unlock your disc.
it was already ready, why didn't you release it with the original game? But part of the
Yeah.
reason it may already be ready is because they were working with it alongside the original game.
Yeah. There's more than one team as well in places.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, these games are so huge anyway, so it's
Yeah.
like I don't know how you can complain anymore. These games
No,
are
I
almost
mean,
too big.
The Lego add-on itself is the size of a full game if you really look at everything they have you do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The size
definitely.
of the Lego land
It's
itself,
really well
it's
done.
gigantic. It's a
Yeah.
game in and of itself.
So
Yeah, definitely.
I think Forza always has a good value. There's always so much content in those games. So
Yeah.
I didn't buy the Lego one, but I bought the other. Was it Fortune Island? Whatever it was called. The
Yeah,
one
yeah.
based on like
Fortune
Scandinavia. That
Island.
was really
It
good.
was.
I enjoyed that.
I want to get Fortune Island when I can afford it because I've been wanting to do parts of it. But yeah.
yeah, it's fun because you
It's
have to
good.
like find the treasure and everything. It's
The,
cool.
the
Yeah.
the weather effects on that island are wild too.
The lightning
Yeah.
just lights up the sky out of
Yes.
nowhere. Yeah, and it's pitch black. 'Cause there's no like street lights or anything. It's kind of out in the wilderness, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Before we move on, shout out to everyone who's commenting in the chat. So we've got Stubbs Gaming again, how do? We've got Fun Speculation. We've got Fastback OGA NLG podcast, and we had it's Timmy V2.
No. You got to do that right. It's Timmy.
Timmy!
Ah,
And we
Just
had
like
Otis
South
Harris
Park.
Jr. as well chatting. I was trying to be nice. I didn't want to offend anyone, so.
No. Timmy expects that.
Ah, that's
Timmy
fine then.
expects
That's
that.
fine
Yeah.
then. We'll move on to some other good news. They've just released the MPD figures for June. I mean, we're not super into that here, but it is nice to see that the Xbox Series X and S took the top spot for best-selling hardware in June for dollar sales. So the Switch had the most sales, console sales, but money-wise, the Xbox was at the top, along with it was its best June since 2011, so it's best in 10 years. And in general, video game hardware dollar sales jumped 112% when compared to last year. So clearly, gamers are gaming and spending a lot of money. I'm surprised the Switch sold so well when they've just announced the OLED, unless the OLED was included in that, because I thought most people would be holding off for the Pro, which never got announced, and it's just a better screen.
By the way,
I think
small pet peeve.
So trash.
Switches in a console. Small pet peeve. But,
I agree. It's a handheld with a
Yeah.
dock.
we need to we need to thank Crap Gamer for the MPD win because he put a tweet out
Oh,
a
yeah,
month or
for
two ago
sure.
saying
Always.
Xbox will never
Always.
again
The
win
Crap
an
Gamer
MPD.
curse.
wow.
Curse strikes again, bless him.
nope.
He's always on time. That
Huge
guy.
shout out. They'll continue. They'll continue. to do
I'm
that.
not gonna give a shout out to crap. Nope, not gonna happen. Sorry.
Just kidding. We're just kidding. But
But-
I just want to point out one thing that is okay. Xbox has the best June ever. Okay, not good for them, but who cares? Like, is
Yeah.
this going to make you like? Now it's totally worth it for me to buy an Xbox.
Yeah, it's stupid,
Is
isn't
this
it?
now going to like?
No,
is this
it's-
an argument now?
No, it's just part of the console war. Usually Sony's on top or Nintendo's on top, and that's all
Oh.
we ever hear about.
It's,
Yeah.
I
it's
mean, you could say that you wanted to do well so that they continue to make them, but I mean, whatever.
yeah. It does just show though the main thing it shows is there was interest peaked after E3. Now,
Yeah.
whether that's just because Xbox have sat on a ton of stock and finally released it after E3, which is probably what happened, is another matter. This is only for America, like I say. In England, I mean, Stubbs has said this as well in the comments. If it was
Yeah.
number one in England, we'd be like, wow, because it never really is. I mean, England and UK at the moment is very PlayStation and Switch
Yeah.
focused. I mean, Nintendo could roll a shit in glitter, stick 2 thumbsticks on it, and sell it for 500 quid, and people will go and
Yeah.
buy it. So,
Oh yeah.
Though I do think that
Like
the
a-
UK Xbox stock is more available than the US right now. Because
Yeah,
I've seen
Oh
definitely.
no,
on
it's,
on
the Series
your
X is
Amazon
still
store,
sold out.
On your Amazon
Yeah.
store, you can pre-order it. You still can't do that here.
there's been
So
a
you
there's been
guys
a
are
lot
getting
of Series S in the UK,
Yeah.
not much Series X.
A little bit of Series X is starting to show up over there. More,
So with-
but it's starting to
Yeah,
show up
like-
everywhere. All of a sudden, people are saying, "I got one. I got one."
which is
you know,
nice to
but
see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
like
seems
seeing
like,
all the
uh,
Japanese people tweeting about it every week. Like, I finally got an Xbox for the first time, and I'm like, it's just nice to see because it just, for me as a gamer, it doesn't bother me. Play on what you like. If you like Switch, you like Switch. If you like Xbox or you like PlayStation, it doesn't bother me. You might still
Yeah.
play on a PS1. You might still play on a PS4. It doesn't matter to me. But it's nice to see more people picking it up because then it makes me think, well, that's good for me. Because I'm going to get more games released, it's going to be more
Yeah.
support in
Yep.
the future. So it's just
I'm
silly stuff
actually
like that.
I'm more about Game Pass numbers, like because I want that to go up, the subscriptions. Because if it
Yeah.
hits 50 million, probably no more gold prices. You have to, maybe you don't have to. Maybe they'll get rid of live gold. They'll add more games to Game Pass, even more. They'll put more money into it. So I want those numbers to go up.
Those
That's
numbers
what
are
I
going to
care about.
skyrocket.
The
Those
price
numbers are
will
going to
also go
skyrocket
up.
this
You
holiday
can be
season.
sure about that.
Yeah, those
Well,
numbers are going
yeah.
to skyrocket come October.
Do you think they'll charge more for Game Pass one day? Probably.
If
but-
they cancel live
at
gold,
some
they
point.
will. They will.
I don't think
But
if they
I-
get rid of gold, you're losing something on your ultimate. So they're gonna have to. You can't take away like a third
Yeah.
of the cost of ultimate and not give
No,
them
but
something back and
But I
charge
mean, like,
more.
but like, I mean, instead of using, well, how can I say that? It's like if they decide to, oh yeah, we are canceling live goals, but we are giving you the internet access for free, and we are also going to increase you the offer that Game Pass gives to you. They will charge you more for that. They will try to compensate that.
Yeah,
maybe.
I
That's what I mean.
understand. Imagine
They
what
are
Game
going
Pass
to
would look
balance
like
that.
if all these games weren't getting delayed and there was more releases. Because
Yeah.
I bet there's a lot of unannounced games that they've not announced this year because they've been delayed to next year or the year after. Imagine if everything, had come out as planned or all these unannounced things. Imagine how massive Game Pass would sound.
Imagine if 2020 and COVID had never happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though,
We
if we didn't have
still
COVID,
have,
the gaming numbers may have not shot up anyway because COVID
Right.
was all being stuck at home
Yeah.
has made gaming increase in that sense. So it's a double-edged blade,
Yeah.
isn't it? Like, yes,
Yeah.
games are getting delayed, but it's also got a lot of people into gaming and especially online gaming. So
like,
Yeah.
there's still a chance. There's always a chance for them to show anything at Exo 21. I hope that that they are going to do something like that. So yeah,
And the
I
other
don't know. We
thing
may
is,
get.
we have stuff dropping to Game Pass that they don't necessarily announce too. I mean, we're not just
Yep.
getting the big titles. We're getting, yeah, they're smaller, older titles or whatever. But some of those games I've never played. I mean, look at some of the games that have dropped recently. And
Oh.
I may not look at them except for the fact that they're on Game Pass. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're getting boosted, the frame rate
Yeah.
boost and shit like that. So.
I'm sure there's a game you all know I want to mention right now that Game
La
Pass
Rita Boy.
introduced me to. Oh, best game of the year.
Rachel Boy. Yep.
Would never have played
course.
it before.
course.
Now my game of the year. Anyone who hasn't tried it, try it. Excellent.
talking
game
about
is that?
Game of the Years, I'm going to slide in to the fact that clearly the actual Game of the Year has been announced. We're getting a Nickelodeon Super Smash Brothers clone where you can play as Nigel Thornberry. Now this is Game of the Year, mind-blowing stuff. Cannot wait for it. I can play
Man.
as SpongeBob, Patrick, Nigel Thornberry in Smash Bros. Sort of gameplay. There's no competition now. I mean, Nintendo must be shitting bricks. Not only has there been a Smash Destroyer announced, there's also a Steam handheld announced, which we'll get to in a bit.
Here's the
It's a
thing.
bad week for
Here's the
Nintendo.
thing.
Team Duck.
And let
Let's
me
be
just say
honest.
that.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. I'm sorry, Paul. It's just because I need to say this. Like, we have a game where you play Master Chief, and the other one, a game where you play Powder Toastman. I'm going with that one.
Exactly.
That's
It's
it.
amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, I'm old school in Nickelodeon. I want to see them bring barf from You Can't Do That on Television and you fling bad hamburgers at you and slime you. I mean, I want to go way back.
Oh,
Way
yeah.
back, like what was it? Reeboks, no socks. That was the funniest
I mean-
slogan.
It's not Nickelodeon without slime. It better have slime in that game.
It used to be called GAC, didn't it? The version of Slime.
Yeah, gack. Yeah, gack.
Gack.
Mhm.
Back.
So it's called Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. There isn't a release date as such, just later this year. and it's co-developed Fair Play Labs, and I can't remember the actual developer. It's totally Ludosity or something like that. Yeah, Ludosity. So they haven't done anything that would probably jump out at you. They have done a fighting game before that was featured at like fighting game tournaments. So there's a good chance it will actually play well. It can't be any worse than some of the fighting game clones that have come out over the years. But yeah, honestly, I hope they go into like the old school Nickelodeon stuff. Like you say, there's so many great shows that they could go with. But yeah, I can't wait. I will get that day one like Casado, and I'll be playing it completely. Love it.
The devs did an interview yesterday, and they were speaking about how they're hoping for it to take off in the competitive scene and be at tournaments. So they're not messing around with it. They haven't just made a game that they think is going to cash in. They're talking about this being added on for years and a competitive game that gets streamed at tournaments. They're really going for it.
And they've also said there is talk. They're not going to talk about the full roster yet, and they're already giving ideas for future like content, so support in the future. So they obviously expect this not to just be one of those throwaway licensed games, which is great. But fingers crossed. I'm well down. Just it needs to have the audio though. The problem with like the Nickelodeon kart racing games that have come out recently, no matter the second one was actually semi-decent, but it had no voice acting in it or very minimal, so it just felt a bit dry. I need it to be like saying like smashing and stuff like that when I'm battering people. I want to hear all the quotes. I don't want it to be like a silent game. Do you know what I mean? So
I know they just reintroduced the Rugrats, so I'm hoping they bring some of that in there.
Hopefully, there's Reptar. Reptar's one of the characters. They have announced Reptar. I don't know if they'll do the babies because obviously you can't really have babies beating each other up. Maybe the dad or the mum. The mum. They could have the twins' mum. She looked like she could win in a fight. I don't know what Phil and Will's mum was called.
Teenage versions of them too. So
all grown up.
The teenage Rugrats stuff. Yeah, the all grown up stuff. Yeah.
But yeah, that's Game of the Year, so it's not Narita Boy, it's going to be Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Oh, can't wait. Talking about other games, I've just read earlier that a Stadia exclusive game is coming to Xbox on July 29th. Now, this was called Get Packed, and I believe it was a Stadia sort of launch exclusive. So it's coming out soon for Xbox and PlayStation and Steam and stuff like that. It's called Get Packed Fully Loaded, and it's basically like an updated version of that. If you ever played Moving Out, which came out around the same time, it's similar to that. You're basically packing up a van basically in your house. Looked pretty fun. However, like I say, it is a downside for those 5 people that bought it at launch on Stadia, who are now losing an exclusive. But it's nice that it's now coming to a wider audience, getting into those double figures, seeing some people play it. So I'm all up for that, and I'm hoping that means that Submerged 2, should I say, will eventually come out on Xbox as well, because that, for some reason, is a Stadia exclusive as well.
The last thing I want to play is a game about packing and moving. Okay.
Oh, it's so good. They're so good multiplayer. Moving Out is one of the funniest games I've played last year.
Yeah.
It's like Stadia's like best they could do. Stadia's like, we're gonna give you a game about packing.
That was like the only launch exclusive that came out.
Are we talking about Death Stranding here? What's going on?
Look, I am more interested to play Lawnmower Simulator than I am to play that.
Who isn't? Who isn't? Let us be honest.
Let me run over grandma's shrubs until I die.
I'll tell you, I actually loaded up Farming Simulator last night, and it does get into the minuscule aspects of farming. It really does. I don't
know. That sounds like a job, man. I don't know if I can play that. I can see like if they made a game like that, but they should add like where you could die or something.
Yeah. You fall in the thresher. Yeah.
Yeah. Like farming accidents. You're like, oh crap! I cut my hand off. Rush to the hospital.
Can you go to small claims court if you manage to survive?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll
We
never
need-
understand all these games.
We need shop. We need shop
Okay.
teacher simulator. Yeah, so-
My mates did actually play the lawnmower simulator when he downloaded it and tried it, and I know he watches this, and I'm going to get him in the shit now. But he was meant to pick his missus up from work, and he was late because he lost track of time playing it. And he messaged me saying if she asks, I
What?
fell asleep.
No way.
Yeah, so Elijah's missus said
Damn.
he fell asleep, but he was late picking her up because he was playing Farming Simulator. Not Farming,
The ga-
the lawnmower simulator game.
I was gonna
That
say
game
talk
is
about
so
getting,
immersive.
talk about getting hell. So I can't get you to mow the real lawn, and you're sitting here for hours playing this. What the hell?
I see there's a game coming out on Steam where you're basically stacking shelves in a shop simulator, like shop assistant simulator. You walk around just like stacking shelves. I mean, that's the future of games, guys. We're just
It's because like people like they're so bored they want to and they don't they're at home so they need something that's a job but it's a game. I mean I don't get it.
Yeah, too many unemployed people. That's
Yeah.
it.
if only right. What they
So-
need to do, like with these bus simulators and stuff like that, and lawnmower simulator, it actually connects to like a computer-driven bus and a computer-driven lawnmower, and it cuts someone's grass and drives someone's bus. Saves all these unemployed people playing these games at home. It's helping the world. They don't have to know. There you go. I've just
Yeah,
sorted the world's
true.
problems out.
What are you gonna ask now? The flight simulator actually tie us into a 747? We got this. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not me playing.
You know, like I said earlier, I've been playing Flight Simulator, and the only thing I'm disappointed in is it doesn't actually show you the crash.
I don't know.
Yeah.
The
It's never
screen
does
just
that, though.
fades-
Cuts to
Just
black.
fades
Reason
to
for
black.
that, though, I guess.
Yeah.
They never
I
really
wanted to
have.
see
Even
what-
if you go back to the old ones, they've never really shown you. You know.
I heard there's a reason why because they don't want people like having like
So it's still
crashing into
planes
like
and crash them.
buildings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
trying to blow stuff up. Yeah.
Yeah, but I used to
Be
do that
like-
as a kid, not in a nasty way. I used to just see where I could fly and try and get through things and stuff.
Yeah.
And I always crashed. But to be fair, back in the day, on like it was like Windows 95, you'd drive into a building, you'd just stop, and that was it, and it would just drop, and that would be the end. Nothing happened.
I admit that
The
because
good
I actually been flying this flight simulator since before it was owned by Microsoft. I'm that old. But yeah, back in the day, I mean, you used to be able to like go in between the World Trade Centers and all kinds of stuff, and more easily buzz underneath bridges and stuff. They've limited some of that in this version.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
don't want it to be like a
Yeah.
terrorist simulator. or
Like
something.
you can't even like fly real low. I mean, even if you know you're not going to crash,
Right.
it automatically assumes that you're beyond the point of no return, and it fades
Right.
to black.
Yep.
How we miss the good old days where we could kill ourselves in video games, right?
Yeah.
Hey,
Those were the days. God,
Yeah.
what?
One of the games I miss most, and I wish they'd bring back in its glory with the red blood and everything, is Carmageddon. If you're old enough that you've ever played Carmageddon on a PC, where the whole purpose of the game was try to mow people down in your car that had like spikes and
Oh
stuff on
yeah.
it. Awesome game.
But that's killing with an objective in mind. Pues that's different.
Oh.
Also, just to wind it back a bit, if we think for a minute there wasn't going to be a game called Shelf Stacker Out of Hours Extended Edition, and not one of us here would download it and try it, you guys are liars. We'd all be all over that game.
We would.
Wait till janitorial services simulator, where you're cleaning toilets and mopping up crap. I mean, you know.
There probably already is
I mean,
that, you
there
know,
is-
out there.
No, there is something like that. It's on Steam. It's where you're like a janitor on like top like in a spaceship or something like that, and you're like cleaning up a lot of blood and guts
like
and stuff.
It's because you are a janitor that cleans the level for the next player. to
Yeah,
come
yeah.
and
Mhm.
something like that. That's the
Yeah.
plot. There is a plot in this game. So.
Hey, all you have to say is easy achievements, and Ash will have that downloaded
Yeah.
before you finish your next sentence.
Every time they do the
Well, it's not on
every time-
Xbox.
Every time my Xbox does the gamer score points for Microsoft reward points, yeah, that's
Mhm.
when everybody downloads those $5 easy achievement games.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when you have
Ash
to do
is
like
not on-
10,000. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ash is not only going to get the achievements, but he's also going to make a review video of the game. So
If they send me, if they say I can have a copy for review, damn right I'm playing that game. Damn right. I've played some tripe games for free. I'm anyone's for a free game, honestly. I tell you. The worst of the worst, unfortunately.
Yeah, Ash and I were at the bottom of the barrel yesterday, playing all these
That was the name of the game, by the way.
I literally sent Slayer a message saying, "Do you think this is worth it? Do you feel like we should stop this? I feel dirty today." And there's still more.
Like maybe 6 or 7 of them yesterday that will all have like 3,000 achievements, 3,000 gamer score.
Are you guys still fighting over that? Who gets the most score?
We're both in that deep hole. It's never ending.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But
I just hit 600k though, so I had a nice milestone.
Yeah.
Ash, just a quick question.
Yes.
Have you heard back of the big Twitter guy who removed you so he could appear top of his friends list that 1 month?
Oh, Kid Smooth. No, he kicked off a bit at me when he didn't like it. Do you know what? He may not have removed me because I kept beating him, but it was funny because I was above him every month, and then like the month I noticed I wasn't on his friends list. He was bragging he was at the top, and I was like, well,
yeah,
I've obviously upset someone.
I think his response was, "Who are you?" I'm on your friends list, beating you every month.
That subject's gonna come up in our later topic, by the way, because that's one of the things that was brought up to me. So yeah, some people put way too much weight on those gamer score sites.
Oh, I'm with you. These losers over here.
Damn, losers.
Whoa.
Here's
my
the thing.
gaming month is like just me and Slayer. Just because you guys are so low in gamer score, don't blame me and Slayer for smashing you month on month.
Ash gets to the lower level. Like he needs to get an achievement so he can sleep well.
Yeah.
Like
200 heading on to 220 days straight. I've got an achievement every day.
I have become a rewards addict because of you guys, though I will log in every day and just launch a random Xbox game to get my 5 reward points.
That's it, you've got to do it.
I am now a Game Pass rewards whore.
We've been a positive influence in your life. There you go.
And bear in mind, if you get an achievement every day, you get 50 reward points for getting an achievement a day.
Now I see why they have a rewards program, because it gets you to play more games.
Of course. Yeah.
How do you think I fund my?
It gets you more involved in a way. Yeah.
Did you say 50 a day just for getting an achievement?
Yeah, if you get an achievement, you get 50 reward points a day.
But
it doesn't work. I do that. Sometimes I do that, and it doesn't give me any points.
You already made that joke. You already did that joke.
It's kind of glitchy, though.
It's a timing issue. It's not 24 hours at 12 o'clock. It rolls over at I think 8 o'clock Eastern time.
In England, it's midnight. In England, it rolls over, so it's lucky for me.
It's based on GMT. It's based on GMT. It looks like.
Well, in Illinois, I think it's like 3 a.m. That's what it feels
No, it
like.
shouldn't be that late because I was Central Time till last week. I was in Texas.
Was it? I don't remember.
But yeah, it's the depths we sometimes go for a gamer score. But in this case, it was because a company called Exitilon or something like that, how you pronounce it. They are masters of making cheap 2D indie games, and every 6 months adding an extra 1,000 G that you can sort of get in like 5-10 minutes. And like this week, they've patched nearly all of their games. So yeah, but they have sent me a review copy for their game that comes out next week, and we'll be doing a free giveaway on Twitter for a copy of it. So if you like Gamerscore and you're not like these grumpy people in this chat, check out our Twitter later, and it'll probably be tomorrow, and they'll be telling you how to win it basically before release. And like I say, it's an easy 1,000. It took me 6 minutes to get 1,000 in it for the review. And
dear God.
Within 6 months it'll be 2,000. Within a year it'll be 3,000. So if you're a Gamerscore whore, it's a free game, and it'll just be a sort of a like and a share giveaway on Twitter. So keep an eye out for that.
Like I said, I'm only a gamer.
Like, is this a good thing to assume yourself?
Gamer score.
Hey,
4.
they've been kind enough to send us a copy to give away.
Our
And
official
there is a lot of
sponsors.
people out there that like Gamerscore. Just because you are grumpy and you do not appreciate Slayers and mine big scores, it's not our fault. It's not our fault we are superior in non-important
Oh,
imaginative numbers than you.
Personally,
Okay.
Personally, it sounds like you and Slayer are compensating, but that's just my point of view.
Yeah. Well said, Paul.
Compensating for carrying this podcast. That's all we're doing.
I carried you guys in Halo, so yeah, it's you know.
I know. I was
crazy.
finally having a break when you got there because I'd been carrying them all
Well.
night before that, mate. Honestly. Oh.
I'll
I
use
wouldn't-
the
Oh
I
yeah,
wasn't there
you were
excuse,
carrying.
okay?
You were carrying so much that we only won one game. Simple as
When
that.
you were that bad,
Hey,
you let us down.
I
So much
can't.
carry.
I'm only one person, man. I mean, what do you want me to do?
So much carry. So much carry. Holy shit.
Let's just play a friendly game like Grounded. That's more. You guys won't fight as much. Jeez.
Oh, we do. Were we not trying to
Wait,
kill
wait,
each
wait,
other
wait,
for about
wait.
20
Wait,
minutes
wait,
in
wait.
Grounded?
Wait, you really don't remember the last time we played Grounded, Lukash?
Yeah, I remember like the freaking spider. Oh, you're on your own. Later, bro. I'm out. Run.
Yeah, there was. If anyone listening, we were playing Grounded, and the big giant spider came out, and Fabio literally shot off.
Yep.
It was like Roadrunner. There were just a bit of like an outline and a bit of dust.
Well,
He'd gone that
he wasn't-
fast.
He wasn't there to
That
have
game
sex
is
with
freaking
spiders.
scary,
No,
man.
exactly.
Like,
Oh yeah, you didn't want to fuck
where?
the spider.
Oh my
yeah.
god!
Not here to
Where-
fuck spiders. He was out.
If you wear headphones, play that game. The game is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
All
it
the
is.
sound effects. It's all like creepy the bug sounds. You don't know where they're coming from until
And
it's
then-
too late.
And then who was it? Ash and Alucard who fell into the pond and we're like, oh well, goodbye.
Well,
You guys
I went,
survived.
I went in the pond on purpose because I wanted to see if the koi fish would eat me, but it didn't happen. So,
I mean, it may if you stay in there long enough, probably.
yeah.
I'm just glad we
Yeah.
finally got a podcast sponsor in Acceleron or whatever the name is.
They've been
I
happy.
would personally want to say to
They're not a
Acceleron.
proper podcast
Wait.
sponsor. We're just doing reviews from, but they have given us a review, a copy to give away as a giveaway, which is fantastic. It's nice when
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I
devs
was-
respond to my
Yeah,
emails.
I just want to say to
Yeah,
them
I
they
was
could do
about
better.
to ask you that.
Oh, we'll move on.
That's
We'll
cool.
move on. I feel like we've got a bit
Out
personal
of
there.
hand, just a little bit.
Yeah, a bit out of hand, a bit
We
We really
personal.
need to put like in the bullets inside the description, somewhere in there in the topics, there has to be off-topic discussion. Always.
Yeah.
That just needs to become a
Always.
staple
Super info
that-
anyway,
and one of the
jellies and shit.
topics for the show.
Yeah, we still haven't been sponsored by KFC or KY Jelly or anything like that. I'm absolutely
Yeah.
disappointed.
Is it an
Or Toys for Bob.
Smeared
Don't forget Toys for
myself.
Bob.
Hey,
Is
the
it
first
an
time
instructional video?
The first bunch of times I saw KY Bob's name, I assumed it was in reference to the jelly.
Exactly. We can't even get sponsored, and he's named after it.
He gets it.
Look, if you want to come over and help go over this mountain of paperwork to get it done, be my guest.
Oh, I'll try and get us back on
Oh,
topic.
Jesus Christ.
You
You will fail.
while we've been talking about Stadia, this week they announced some updates and stuff at one of the shows. I'm not going to go into the majority of it, but they are sort of giving their developers a cut of the Stadia Pro revenue going forward, based on how much people play your game and stuff on Stadia, as well as it's like a better percentage split. So they're going to give the developer 85% and they're only going to keep 15% from sales, which is great. I'm not sure what it is on other platforms. I think it's 70-30 on others, but
Yeah.
I think the guy from Descenders, that Mike, said that those deals where you get a percentage exist on other platforms already. So it's just like Stadia catching up with that sort of side and then dropping the overall sort of prices. But to be fair, when only 5 people buying your game, you want that extra sort of 15%,
Everybody
10%.
gets a quarter. Everybody gets
Yeah.
a quarter. All right.
Jesus.
Now we're talking.
I don't even know anybody who plays Stadia. Like I've never met anybody that's ever
I know-
played it, and nobody has even heard of it before.
I play
I know.
Stadia.
I know that Wilmy Hood has, and a few people in the gaming outside the box crew, but they've all stopped because it was just that bad. It wasn't.
Yeah.
Now, I played it when it came out, and I played that the exclusive, like the little horror one where you're the girl and there's like
Yeah.
the monsters. It was good. It was a good game. It played and handled really well. My issue was the rest of the games were naff, and I could get them on Xbox.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I don't want to buy a game for £45 on a system they could switch off at any time. I mean, yes, I buy digital now, but if I download it, it's still on my Xbox. Whereas if Stadia, they switch it off, it's just poof, in a cloud of smoke.
Yeah.
It's gone. And at the
Yeah.
time, you can't even get Stadia on a lot of the Google Chrome options. So, but it does work really well. I think Stadia works 10 times better than xCloud does, or whatever Microsoft's currently calling it. In the UK, that is. I don't know how it plays in other countries, but Stadia to me ran so much smoother and with a better graphical quality than xCloud did. But the lineup's rubbish, the store and the UI is terrible, and it's just a shame, unfortunately. But it's nice that they're at least making some effort. But it's like, to me, that seems a bit desperate, going, oh, we're only going to take 15% now. I mean, that's a sign that, like, please make games for this, because
Yeah.
no one else is.
It almost sounds exactly like what it is. The developers are fleeing because they see that Stadia is not going to hold up.
Yeah.
You know?
So please bring Submerge 2 out on Xbox, because it was out on Xbox, Submerge 1 was, and now Submerge 2 is currently a Stadia exclusive. So hopefully that'll end in a couple of months when the 6 months is up. So we shall see. But yeah, it's good in some ways, but like I say, it's not a good sign. Apologies to any Stadia fans listening. Please don't go crazy on us on Twitter like you normally do. You are super diehards. I respect that, but also I don't care today. Please don't. I don't need an argument with a Stadia fanboy this week.
Don't go
How
crazy
many-
on us.
how
Go
many
crazy
Stadia
on Ash,
fanboys-
but not on us.
If you've
How
got
many
any
Stadia
complaints,
fanboys are there? How many Stadia fanboys could there possibly be on Twitter?
no, but they
Tell
are
me.
very vocal. They will hunt you down like a bloodhound.
Yeah.
So
Mind
if
about
you've got
Alexa.
any complaints about our Stadia coverage, please forward
Send
them
it to
to
Ash.
at FBIOAMORIM97 on Twitter.
Son of a bitch.
Or Cerebral One on Twitter.
I'm changing it right now.
That's Fabio Amorin on Twitter. Please send him your hatred, your fury, and yeah, tell him why Stadia is amazing. Please do, and he will do a follow up
invite
and
them.
apologize.
I'll invite them to our Discord channel.
Yeah, that's
so they
it.
can
Oh,
We've got-
express themselves.
We've got a Stadia. We'll even set up a Stadia exclusive channel in the main channel, and you can have like your 3 conversations a month in there about it. So
Yeah, Fabio,
Would
he
be bad,
loves the drama, so bring it to him.
I think Stadia was meant for like, it wasn't meant for us, it was meant for like the future. It's like
No,
people. I don't know.
no. I don't know who Stadia was meant for, but definitely not the future.
it's a shame, because like the actual software and the system works well, but the implementation is terrible. Like the UI, they're still not added all that cool YouTube stuff. Where they were like, you can be playing on YouTube and you can like, someone watching can literally jump in and take over from you while they're watching you. That was ace, but that's not actually happened yet.
They were
And-
just chasing a trend, man. That's all.
Yeah.
They were just looking for another avenue to make money. They don't really
Well,
care about
I mean,
gamers or
it-
people or anything like that.
It
in
didn't
my
make any
opinion.
sense. It should have been in beta testing for a while, and it just wasn't. And it was just like, we want you to pay to be our beta tester. It's like, it should have been free for like,
Yeah.
like xCloud was free, and
Wait
you
a
had to
second.
apply for it.
You need to pay to become a beta test.
Well, that's why
That's
just
what it
like
was.
Fallout 76.
That's why they pushed it out the way they
Yeah,
did.
it
They
was.
pushed it out because they were trying to beat
surprised
xCloud.
Stadia has lasted this long, because Google usually they try something, it doesn't do
Yep.
as well as they'd like it to, and they dump it.
Have you
They
seen
just
that
bury it,
website,
yeah.
Google Killed,
Forget
or What Did Google Kill? And it's just a
Mhm.
list
Yeah.
of everything Google have killed. It's amazing.
There's hundreds of
Yep.
freaking ideas in there and projects stuff like that.
Like
I
the
don't think
Google
they had the
Glass-
right
Google Glass
people.
or whatever it was, which was really kind of cool technology that they never did anything with.
Google what?
Yeah, I mean,
The glass, the Google, the
Oh, Google Glass.
oh,
Okay.
Google Glass, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't have the right people, I think, in charge of Stadia. It was just like, it wasn't gamers. It was more like
Yeah,
the
businessman.
stockholders.
Just like Amazon.
Yeah.
It's like
Amazon
PlayStation.
Gaming, same thing.
It had two problems,
Just like
right?
PlayStation.
Jeff
Just,
Ryan's no gamer in any way.
Yeah, he's definitely not. No.
What
They
do you
had two
mean?
problems. They
Just
put,
because the PlayStation CEOs play with their consoles upside down and hold them really weird, like they're in some sort of
This
movie
is
and
how
they've
they
been
hold
told.
their. This is how they control their
Yeah.
controllers.
Doesn't mean
It's
they're
not
not
gonna-
gamers.
To any PlayStation fanboys there are that want to express themselves, send a message to Slayer. Because
Whoa, whoa. That was Bob who said that. I didn't start that.
Yeah, but Bob's
said
getting
that.
us the sponsorships with KY Jelly, so we can't upset Bob.
Are they instructional videos for KY?
How to-
Oh my God,
I
man.
think,
How to blow
okay,
into
I
the
think we need
controller.
to stop doing that joke. We are doing this every single podcast. Let's stop.
We've already said though, when we hit like 10,000 subscribers, he's going to coat himself in KY Jelly in a hot tub.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like and subscribe.
Yes.
You guys are gonna make Bob run away from us and never come back.
No.
Exactly.
He does that on the weekend anyway, so it's just on camera this time.
Right.
There's no difference.
You should
No
go on Gaming Beyond the Box, man. That place is scary. That channel's scary. Like everybody's so crazy, you know. Like Fork Boy, like he's worse than
Yeah, yeah.
anybody.
That was- that
I've
was-
been on Gaming Beyond the Box. It was rough. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the first show I ever did, and this is what you get. So,
I feel like we're slowly descending into madness as the weeks go by. Like I say, I mean,
Maybe.
it started off really
Maybe.
rigid, and it's just got worse
Oh,
and
yeah.
worse.
I remember the first
Yeah.
episode of Party Podcast I did. I looked to see what the topics were going to be, and I actually did research on the topics. And now it's like, oh, I don't even look at that list. I just show up.
Yeah, he came in with facts and all sorts. It was great.
Yeah.
We were like, finally, we don't have to do this, and it lasted like a week, 2 weeks.
Yeah, 1 week.
That's why we decided to call him to become a permanent member, because he would do all the research for us.
We were missold that car, weren't we?
Jeez, man.
That's
Oh.
okay.
Right, we'll get back on topic. Next topic. Tencent.
Just quickly to annoy the Stadia fans. Let's admit, there's only two reasons Stadia exists. Someone was a mate with Phil Harrison and thought they'd give him another job to fail in gaming and get a big payoff. That's it.
Wow.
And also,
damn.
the guy who
Wow.
appointed him really wanted to have a crack at Jade Redmond, so let her set up her own studio. And obviously, when that didn't work, he just shut it all down. You know,
Yeah,
just
that's
went
it.
for it.
How
That was Stadia. In a nutshell.
if you did so bad at your job so many times as Phil Harrison, you wouldn't get another job. I mean, if
Yeah, I
I've
don't-
fucked up as many
don't
massive
know.
jobs as he has, basically Stadia, Xbox One, was it PlayStation 3?
PlayStation
Yeah.
3, yeah.
Yeah,
That was
Wow.
Mr. £7 million PS3 launch. I mean, he's not a good guy. He's not good at his job. Stop paying him. It's like when Peter Molyneux set up that little indie company. You knew how it was going to end, and it ended exactly how you thought. When Phil Harrison announces a gaming project, you're like, right, we know what's happening here. Every
Is that
single
the one
time.
where the Peter Molyneux one was the one where you could pickaxe a tiny cube off for £1, wasn't it? Off a bigger cube.
You could buy so many picks, and when you got the person who got to the middle got a life-changing prize, and it was basically nothing because it never really happened. They made a mobile game that you were going to be the god of and get a cut of the revenue, and then they never gave him any revenue, and it basically just fizzled out and told him to fuck off. There's a really good video. Slopes Game Room, I think, did a very in-depth thing about that, and you can watch it all, the whole history of it. They even talked to the guy that won. And yeah, it's a shame because I like Peter Molyneux. I like his stupid claims because I know they're a lie, but I love listening to him talk. Do you know what I mean? I love how enthusiastic he gets, and he comes out there and at least he tries, but he shoots for the stars and misses, whereas Phil Harrison just doesn't try. He's just like, he phones it in and it dies a slow death anyway, so...
I remember Project Milo with the Kinect.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
speaking to that creepy kid, and he puts the photo up, and then Milo's got the kid on, not the kid, he got the photo on the screen, and it's just like, this isn't real.
Paedophile
what are you doing,
simulator.
Peter? It's a weird subject, Peter, and also we know you're lying. We've got used to you by now.
Oh, that was the classic sort of E3 presentations where that girl was playing with that lion thing, that little girl, and she clearly wasn't playing with that lion, and it was licking on the screen, and she was going like it was licking her in real life when she was playing it on Kinect, like it had some sort of weird connection. It was all rubbish. So
It was Phil Harrison era.
Exactly.
Wait, why are we talking about that?
We got to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about Xbox, Fabio.
Not even on the list. It's not even on the list here. I'm looking at the list.
Well, I'm so sorry. It's not usually that way. I'm so sorry. This is going completely mad.
We're 6 months next week. We're trying to break Fabio as the anniversary. That's what it is.
I'm just a co-host.
You want to break Fabio? You start talking about the flute guy at the PlayStation show. Bring that up.
Just tell him why Mexico is a better fit for Forza Horizon 5 than Brazil.
I'll get back on track before Fabio goes on a killing spree. Tencent is reportedly looking to buy the Crysis developer Crytek. Supposedly they're planning to take over it for a deal worth about 300 million euros. And this was reported by a German tabloid Bild. So basically they wanted to buy them. So Tencent already has So Tencent had previously used its subsidiary Proxima Beta Europe BV, that's not a mouthful, to acquire a 22% stake in French developer Don't Nod Entertainment earlier this year, and they're now trying to do the same thing to buy Crytek, basically. But the report noted that obviously CryEngine is currently used a lot by US and German armed forces for military simulation purposes and stuff and programs. And there was obviously worry that obviously a Chinese government funded company buying a company that then provides stuff to the US and sort of German military wasn't a good idea and could be causing some issues behind the scenes.
It's not.
I didn't know that they would use that for military purposes. That's interesting.
If you think about it, if you think about it, there are contracts in the private sector. If they were owned by a Chinese company, then the Chinese company would be privileged to see those contracts and the technology behind them, and that would be a conflict of interest. It would not be good.
Yeah. And there was Crytek, they it's because Microsoft has military contracts too.
Yes.
As well, right? Yeah.
Kinect is a military contract. And HoloLens as well, isn't it? The HoloLens glasses, they use that for military. Because we're just building VR soldiers now, aren't we? That's it.
And Microsoft are doing the same thing where they couldn't buy Japanese companies before, but now they own Tango Gameswork, is it? The Bethesda arm that's already in Japan. They can use that as a proxy to get through and buy Japanese companies. So,
we shall see.
I've got Hunt Showdown. That they make. Crysis makes that game. And that game's pretty cool. If you guys have never played it, Hunt Showdown. Pretty cool, like co-op game.
I tried. I was really bad at it.
Yes, it's a very difficult game.
It's tough because you can you go find the bounty and then you can get wiped out by another team and they take the bounty away from you.
So if you've ever played PUBG with a group of people and how you've got to call everything out and have a strategy and flank the other teams, and Hunt Showdown is that on another level, because not only are you racing against the other teams, but you're also racing against the environment and the NPCs at the same time.
Yeah. It's a creepy environment.
Yeah, it's hard. Really hard game to master.
Yeah, so we'll see if anything comes of this potential investment. Hopefully it means some American, English, non-Chinese companies may start being a bit more interested in Crytek. Because there was talk of Xboxware, but there's not a lot to Crytek at the moment. Obviously, they've got the Crysis series, they've got Hunt Showdown, they've got CryEngine, but I don't think anyone really uses CryEngine. And
they've got I'm looking at their site right now. They've got some
Rise Son of Rome.
Oh, Oculus.
They've got Rise Son of Rome.
Warface. They made Warface.
Yep.
And they made the
They made the
first Far
first Far
Cry.
Cry.
They did,
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yes,
say,
the
they
first
did
Far Cry.
The first one was under their banner.
But there's
Of
not a
course
lot
we
to
want-
that though.
We want
Usually-
Rise 2, so we'd love to have
Isn't that
Rise
what-
2. But...
That one's been remastered recently. The one where you're a spy with like a nano suit on. What's that called?
Crisis.
Crisis.
Yeah, they do them as well, don't they? Is that still
Yeah.
them, or is it EA bought the rights to them?
No,
No.
EA was
EA
involved
publish
for a
it,
while.
don't they, or something? Or no, they don't. No, it's Crytek. And they've just
Yeah.
announced
Yeah,
that they're
like
doing remasters, and
Crytek-
basically, if you bought the old remaster, this new trilogy remaster is like a big fuck you because you've already bought one
Yeah.
of the three.
Yeah, we talked
Yeah,
about
we
that.
We
I
talked
got
about this on an episode or two ago. Yeah.
The first one I got it got remastered, and then come to find out, oh well, duh, you could have got all three of them for the same price. Fuck you.
Damn.
Like it's so booming. But like for what I remember, Crytek don't usually let publishers have their IPs. They usually continue to own them. Like Crisis is one of them, and Rise Son of Rome is another one.
So we'll see if anything comes of that. I doubt we'll find anything out. It probably won't happen if it's to do with military contracts and stuff. I think there'll be some country sort of law will probably come into play there to stop that happening. Then we'll move on to probably the last two items. So these are our big talking points probably this week. So Gabe Newell came out this week and announced the Gabe Gear. And literally slapped it down. He heard all the people's cries for a Switch Pro that were broken when the Switch announced the Switch OLED, and he went, no, I'm going to bring you out my own Game Gear, and that is what he did with the Steam Deck. So this is a handheld gaming PC, which they've partnered with AMD for it. Like I say, it looks really nice. It's supposed to run pretty much anything on Steam, and supposedly it'll also run other storefronts. It'll run Windows. It'll dock as well, so you can use it as an actual PC. Plug keyboards and mouse into it. It's got Zen 2 and RDNA 2 powered. So, like I say, it's pretty cool. They even had a bit of a shot at Nintendo earlier today where they said, we don't expect our joysticks to drift because we've actually spent some money on them. So, like, we're not going to make the same mistake as other companies with their
Oh, man.
joystick drifts.
Wow, dude.
That's crazy.
But yeah, they announced it the other day. IGN have currently got this sort of exclusive scoop on that. There's loads of things on IGN. There's like a Q&A with like 30 odd questions. There's all sorts of interviews. So for the full sort of information about that, head over to IGN. I hate saying that, but
No, don't.
unfortunately.
No, I'll wait till it goes to a respectable place. But,
I know, but I think they've
No.
paid for it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But there is there's
Like-
3 versions coming out. So there's a 64 gigabyte version, which has just like a standard. It's got an eMMC
That's so
hard
bad.
drive. There's a 256 gigabyte version with an NVMe SSD. And then there's a 512 gigabyte one, which has a NVMe SSD and also anti-glare etched glass as well. So these start at, this is UK price, £349. Then it goes to $459, and then it goes to $569. I can't remember exactly what the US prices are, but for the amount of kit you get in it, they're not badly priced, bar the hard drive space. Now you can put a micro SD card in for the extra space. But what do you guys think about this? Anyone had a proper look at it?
I was reading up on it when it came out. They were talking about it, and I was like, I'm excited but I don't think that it's a Switch killer or anything
No.
like that because people love Nintendo games, like they're exclusives. But I'd rather buy this than the Switch. I don't want the Switch, so
It's actually cheaper than the Switch. The new Switch OLED, it's $50 cheaper if I'm right, for the standard version of this.
Well, no, it's 400, and the new one isn't a new Switch 350.
I think it's cheaper here in the UK, but it's more expensive in the US.
Yeah, it's more expensive in the US.
Yeah, I mean,
It's cheaper.
I think it has like 3 models, and I think for me personally, it's a cool product, and I hope that it does well. But like, it's not for me. It's way too expensive for what you're getting, in my opinion.
Yep.
Like I think the base model is like 400, and it only has like 64 gigs of memory, which you could probably
Terrible.
download one game on there. It only
Yeah.
has a 720p screen, which like it's cool for like on the go, but I don't know. I'd rather just play
Now,
Bear
xCloud
in
on
mind
my
though,
phone or something
this
like that.
has more memory than the Switch as well.
Like,
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying it's I agree. The memory is too small in all of them, but
Yeah.
for the price, I think it's very well priced for what what the content is in it. Like the actual specs are really good, apart from the hard drive size. But you can plug stuff in. Like I say, you can if you dock it, you could put a USB hard drive into it, or you can put a micro SD card into it for
Yeah.
will you be able to hook it up to from when it's docked? Can you hook it up to a large HD television?
Yes,
You can.
Yeah,
you
but
can.
Well,
nobody
I don't know
really
what-
knows yet, as
I
far
don't know
as,
what the-
at least as far as I know, whether
Yeah,
it
we
like
don't know.
upscales it or not.
We don't know
I
what the
wonder how-
resolution's going to be or anything.
Yeah, I wonder how capable the RDNA 2 is. Is it at least as capable as what we have in the Series X? Is it at least 12 teraflops?
no, it's 10
no,
teraflops,
not
I
at all.
believe.
No.
I think they've said.
Yeah,
or
it's
something
got
like that.
a Zen
close
2.
to that.
Zen 2.
I think it's only like 4.
No,
So I think it's only
3 point.
Yeah, it's
it's
really
slightly
low.
stronger than the PS4. I heard.
Already.
Oh.
So
It-
it's actually worse than it's weaker than the PS4 Pro.
So they were very
16
clever in the way they
gigabytes.
said it. What they said was, because there's only an 800p screen, per pixel on screen is more powerful than a Series X
Yeah.
because of the amount we can put out. So what they were saying was, what we have to actually put out on screen, we're more powerful than the Series X. But if
Like,
you hook
for
it up to a
me-
big screen, it isn't.
I was
Also,
gonna say, yeah,
the-
when you dock it, you lose all that thing.
Yeah, exactly. And also the internal hard drive. I don't know if you saw, someone emailed the pre-order, and Gabe apparently replied to him. I saw it on Twitter
Oh.
today, saying that the hard drive internal isn't soldered onto the motherboard and stuff. You can it's one you can just chop and change. So if you buy an off-the-shelf one that's a better performing one, that's the right size and what have you, you can literally just put your own one in there.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it,
Yeah, I don't know. For me personally, like if I'm gonna choose something, because like I don't really travel that much anyway, at least not yet. Especially because of COVID and all that stuff. So like for me, I'm fine with. I have a phone. I have xCloud. I'm okay. Maybe there is input lag obviously versus this not having any, but I don't know. I feel like for me this is definitely not. For me it's way too expensive, and it's really not. Like I have other things that fit the bill better than this does. So.
see, for me with this, the fact that I could put Game Pass on and download the games and play them without Wi-Fi as such or internet makes me interested in it, because in the UK a lot of our phone signal doesn't match the Americans and other countries' phone signal. Like me, I struggle to use xCloud on my phone, and I've got 5G in some places and it's not that great.
Man,
Whereas if I could get that and just play like my games on the go properly and not have to worry about the picture quality buffering and all that shit, I'm really interested in this just for that. And the fact that I've got a library of about 800 Steam games that I never play because I don't really play on my PC anymore. Having that, I can just flick on and play some of my old stuff or my backlog would be great. I think I'd play it more. I would like a bit more information. There isn't a lot out there just yet. I'd love to get a bit more in depth. I want to know about the dock. They have said they're bringing an official dock, but they have said it will work with unofficial docks, and basically a USB-C cable to TV and stuff like that will work. And so I'll probably not use it on a telly, but I would be really interested in having it. And I'd probably eventually, because it's more powerful than my gaming laptop I'm running off right now. So I could literally use that. I could probably do this podcast off it, and it probably work better than it is now. Do you know what I mean? It's that's what's crazy about it. So
It's a cool piece of technology. Like sorry, real quickly. Like definitely and I'm sure people will buy it. It's definitely gonna sell out like crazy. Because it's basically essentially like a mini computer. You can do a lot of stuff with it. It's not just tied to games. So that's what it has.
Yeah,
going for
definitely.
it. But like I said, for me, it's just not for me. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know, I'm
It's-
sure that.
It's definitely not
You know,
going to
given,
be.
given that the only time I've left the house was to fly from Texas to Florida, yeah, I'm probably not going to use one.
Yeah.
It all
By the
depends
way,
on
the
your
other thing
situation.
I've heard that the battery life is not that great.
It's
I think it was like 8 hours. Or
8
something or
hours
something.
depending on what you play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it depends on your situation. Like for me, it appeals to me for reasons that don't appeal to you guys. So I totally
Yeah.
agree with your what you're saying. But for the price of it, to buy this laptop, my laptop, I wouldn't be able to get one that cheap. Do you know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, and if
Yeah,
I
I
want
mean,
if I want 4K gaming,
why don't you just get a Series S with the screen dock?
Oh heck yeah.
because
You know,
I've got an X,
Yeah.
I've got a Series X for my gaming. But if I want if I
oh,
want to
you
play my
would-
PC games and do my PC stuff,
oh well,
that's
yeah.
what that side of it appeals to me more, because this laptop will eventually die. Something like that would be an ideal alternative for what I actually use my PC for. I browse the net a bit, I do some
Mhm.
downloading, and I upload my download and do my streams. Do you know what I mean? And I could do all that
Yeah.
with that. So for me, it's quite an interesting proposition. Obviously, I mean, it crashed Steam when the pre-orders went live. Then now
Yeah.
now you have to wait till Q2 2022. Even if you reserve one, you're not going to get it till late next year. I
Right.
was lucky enough to get my name down on a reservation for one, but
Nice.
there's no real commitment. If it all turns out it's terrible, then I'll just not pay for it when it comes out. There's not
Yeah.
real any loss to me there. I've got my name on one day one sort of thing, but I'm waiting to find a bit more. But I don't want to. I couldn't not do it in case I then missed out when it finally comes out. Because now, like I said, there's no way I'll get one for December if I actually did want one. So, and the
I
scalpers
would
are
get
already
one,
going
but not
mad.
now. I'm gonna wait until the price goes down, or until they figure all the bugs it's probably gonna have, or whatever. You know.
Yeah, like I said, I
Oh,
don't think
wait.
it'll never replace a Switch as such. And when you think of Steam's other attempts to dethrone the marketplace, we had the Steam Link, we had the Steam consoles, like the Steam machines, we had the Steam controller. Where are they now? They've all disappeared into the wayside, and I've owned all of
No,
them,
yeah.
and none of
Now,
them
will you
lived
be
up to
able to
potential.
will you be able to do xCloud on it? Will you be able to do
So
xCloud on it?
they've said, as long as it can do anything a PC can, basically. So you could actually
Yeah.
install the Game Pass app. You can put Windows on it,
Yeah.
install the Game Pass app, and actually download the games and play them natively. Or you could go on the web and play the xCloud over the internet as well. So, but
Yeah.
for me, I don't care for the internet side of it, because this, like I say, the streaming for me
Right.
is naff. I'm more interested in playing it natively, and that's my laptop at the moment. It goes on fire when I play like Forza on this. I can play it and it runs all right, but my laptop, I could fry an egg on it.
Overheats.
Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And I've got
Yeah.
a Razer laptop,
Yeah.
a gaming laptop, but it still don't like it that much. So something like that sounds fun, and I'll see over the coming months exactly what happens, and then if I decide to go ahead with it, I've got one saved.
Well, I know
basically.
that it's, like they made it extra big, so it's bigger than the Switch.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of space because they had to put a bigger battery in there, and they don't want it to overheat, so like they had to have more space so it can ventilate. So hopefully that means it's going to be good to go. But I'm a little worried about it that it still might overheat.
Oh
So,
yeah, definitely. I that's why I'm waiting for sort of like early sort of hands-on and stuff like that, proper hands-on, not IGN. But like I said, I put my name down because it's not really. I'm not going to lose out on hundreds of pounds. I haven't had to pay up front for it or anything like that. Like I haven't had to pay a full deposit. I haven't had to pay a lot of money, and I'm guaranteed one whenever they get launched first wave. So, and if I don't go with it, that's it. It's, you know what I mean, it's not end of world, but the excitement of it all.
By the way, it just dawned on me. Your background, the way it looks like you're sitting in a seedy motel room. I'm just saying.
That's my curtains to outside, but it's dark now, so I could probably get away with it as such. But I'm not in the best. I normally sit on the other side as well, but it's too hot. I've got this. The only place I could get the fan pointing at my face, right next
I'm waiting
to
to
me.
hear some knock on the door and some guy telling you, "Hey, your hour's up. Get up."
Damn.
I wouldn't be doing that here. I wouldn't be on this if I was in one of those places. I wouldn't be on this podcast right now. I tell you. But yeah, let us know in the comments, and if you listen to this on Spotify, hit us up on Twitter and stuff. Let us know what you think of the Steam Deck. It looks like it's going to be a Marmite machine. You're either going to love it or you're going to not be interested at all. I noticed the Switch diehards came out attacking it the other day, and I had a good chuckle reading the
Yeah.
comments. It's a separate
Well,
machine.
hopefully,
It doesn't matter.
hopefully
at
it's
all.
not. Hopefully it's not
I
too
noticed
proprietary.
the Switch.
If it's going to allow you to do all that stuff, I can't see how it's going to be proprietary very much.
Well, it would be good if it's not. I mean,
Yeah.
which it looks like it's not going to be. That way, if in a year's
Yeah.
time it's not supported by Steam anymore, you can still
Yep.
do everything else with it.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting. There's also another handheld. What is it called? The Evo or something like that? Isn't there another handheld that's similar I think it's called the Evo or something like
I
that.
think
But
so.
it's
That's one of
another-
those isn't that one of those more of the Android-based devices?
Yeah, yeah. But this is probably better though. It sounds like
Oh,
it's better.
Didn't the last Microsoft Surface X try to go with the ARM processor instead of Intel, and performance suffered horribly? So anything on a mobile processor, I've not got much faith in.
We'll find out more hopefully, but yeah, I'm curious. I'm very curious about what's happening with that, and it could be a game changer and stuff like that, but we will see. And we'll go from there. And like I say, close to the time, if I'm lucky enough to get one, I'll let you know how it works, and I will try and run the podcast through it
Well-
one day if I do get one, just to see
Well-
how it runs.
Well, with the Steam Deck, you can play your favorite games, just like Left 4 Dead 3, Portal 3, Half-Life 3. Well, we have artifacts, so yeah.
I can
guess
play
you
Left
have
4
to do
Dead
with
2
that.
portable. That's all I care about. I'm happy.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
The
played
code 2
Void
is now up
District.
on the screen right now for anyone who may want a free copy of Monster Prom for Xbox. Grab it before someone else does. It's first come, first serve. And now we shall move on to our main topic, the most important one I feel from the last week.
Yeah.
Does someone else want to lead in with this? Who's been in with it? Do you want to do this one for us, Gina? Because you've been fighting the good fight on Twitter a lot this week. Do you want to start it off for us?
Yeah, it's a subject that kind of hits home with me because I've got friends who struggle to play games due to various genetic conditions or epilepsy and stuff, and the concentration can wave and things like that. And then Psychonauts 2 announced it was going to have an invincibility mode, which meant that anybody could play it. Paul, who's on here now, was kind of singing the praises of it, and then out of nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
he just got shit from people who are elitists saying, well, this will make Dark Souls a worse game because anyone could play it. And it's like, yeah, but you can still play it the way you want. This isn't Dark Souls, and also, why not just make it more accessible to people?
Yep.
You'll get more sales. The games will be more polished when they do a sequel. Just open it up to people. And some reason, one game saying it's going to have an invincible mode and make it more accessible just unleashed the absolute scum of the internet to say, well, no, fuck you, you don't deserve to play games. Is the gist of what happens, basically.
It's exactly what happened. I was told I should just go watch a movie instead.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
That's
If you don't wanna
rude.
play- I think one of the comments was, if you don't want to play it properly, why don't you watch someone play it on YouTube?
Yep, that's exactly what he said. Yep.
Honestly, I saw a lot of those comments, and I joined in on a couple on one of your threads, and it were like talking to a brick fucking wall with these idiots. Like
Yep.
I felt like accomplishment for finishing this game because it was a hard game. It's like, and I was like, and what does adding a lower difficulty that you don't have to play make
Yeah.
any difference to you
Yeah.
in how you will play that game? You will
Exactly,
still get the same. And not one of them can answer me. Not one of them can give you an answer.
Like-
They're just
They
selfish
won't.
pricks.
They won't.
like they are not saying that the only way for you to play the game is with the invincibility mode. It's an option that you can choose to turn on or turn off.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do people not want people to play games? I mean,
Well, because according to them, it's nothing more than a cheat code, and then it gets into, well, then you shouldn't get achievements. I have an answer for that. If you have ever looked at a walkthrough or looked at a YouTube to figure out how to solve a puzzle or get somewhere in a game, then you shouldn't be getting achievements because you didn't do the work. You
Yeah.
saw
Yep.
somebody else do the work, and then you followed them. It's the same thing they're saying to me. Well, you shouldn't get an achievement because you didn't do the work.
Like I got no
It's
I got no
ridiculous.
problems. Like I got no problems at all with the invisibility mode to have achievements. But I think it would be nice for them to have some achievements available for the invisibility mode and some achievements for you to play without the invisibility mode, just so you can explore and play the everything the game has to offer, something like that. But I
Yeah.
get it, and I think it's interesting to have the achievement.
Yep.
Well, it's a-
Because and because it's an option, everybody's on equal ground. It's not like games
Yeah.
that had invincibility mode, like the Lego games had invincibility mode, but you had to earn that cheat, which means
Right.
if you couldn't earn that cheat, you never got that cheat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This at least puts everybody on equal footing.
You know,
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it or not, you can choose to use it. You can choose not to use it.
I've got
Exactly.
Oh, Bob's
got
getting
a-
serious. He's got his hat on backwards.
Yeah.
He's got the glasses.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
you got
Everybody, turn off your cameras. Only Bob is the main focus here.
All right.
Turn
All
off
right.
your cameras right now.
So I don't have any experience with anybody with cerebral palsy or disabilities like that. But what I do have experience with is I have two twin girls, and they were both born extremely autistic. They're 11 years old now, and one of them can still not read a lick. It's not her fault. But if there was an option that everything that was in subtitles on a game could be read to her because she would know what the fuck is going on, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like there's nothing wrong with making a game easier for somebody with another disability to play and experience.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's just
It
an
is-
option. Like you can turn it on and off.
Yeah.
You know, like
It's nobody's place to be a gatekeeper to shut out other people from having experiences with games.
Exactly.
Agreed.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
And-
one thing here.
I'm not going to point out which group it is, but most of the ones that are really against it seem to be coming from one section of the internet. They have, because I look at their profiles to see what kind of people they are. Wow. Okay. Let's just say these are probably not people you want to introduce to your kids.
Jesus Christ.
But I, like I said, I've taken a lot of heat this week. And people, and the other side of this is people will say, well, just ignore it. Let them say what they're going to say. But that doesn't fix anything.
No.
And if they're the only ones that are going to be loud, they're the ones that the developers are going to end up listening to.
Yep.
So the developers need to know, hey, you got our support. And the nice thing is that Double Fine is actually underneath the Microsoft umbrella. So that's where that's coming from. I know
Yeah.
Microsoft has a list of accessibility that they expect to be put into their games. Hopefully this is one that's going to get checkmarked and put on most of the list. Hey, if it's right for the game, put it in there. Now there are some games this is not right for. This is not right for the likes of Cuphead, where all it is run and fight, because all you're going to do is race through the game. That's silly.
Right.
but-
Psychonauts, it's going to be a story-driven game.
Right. It's got it's going to be a story-driven game with some parts that are really hard. And this is not the first game to do this. We kind of touched on this game earlier. Crisis, I think it's Crisis, or one of those games has a mode where it's one shot, one kill. You're not invincible, but it made the game a hell of a lot easier for me to beat it because every time I hit a guy, he blew up. Even if it was one of the main bosses, boom, bye. So it wasn't invincibility, but it made the hell of a game. And I didn't see all the drama when that happened. You know.
I mean, honestly, this is really nothing new. Like games have always had cheat codes that you could just put in with like certain button presses, and like
Yeah.
that was always optional. Like I remember, GTA has a bunch of those. Saints Row had a bunch
Yeah.
of those. Like back in the 360 days, almost every game had some kind of cheat code that would either make
even
the game
going
easier.
back to the Nintendo 64 and stuff. The big difference is, and I do recognize this, is those codes used to shut down being able to save the game, being able to move forward in the game, or in the case of whatever they called their achievements, all that stuff would be shut down. You couldn't advance a certain thing, and they're not doing that. They're not putting that block on using this toggle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is fine, like because we all
yeah,
agree here.
for
Even though Ash and I are crazy avid achievement hunters, like I wouldn't really care, like.
To be fair, right,
if
we're
the
playing
first-
games you
first
can get
spreads-
5,000 G in 5 minutes. We don't
Yeah.
care anymore. If you can, if you
Exactly.
can play through Psychonauts at a leisurely pace, that sounds fantastic to me. To be fair, that means I could play through it and just mong out and play it as well.
I mentioned I loaded up Psychonauts earlier this week. The first one. The platforming. I don't care if I have invincibility mode. The platforming part of it, the jumping, to get the angle right to land where I need to land on some of those smaller platforms without walking off the other side is difficult. There's no way invincibility mode's going to make that any easier for you in the next game. Zero. But the other side of this, I heard it. One guy railed on me. Well, it's not fair because those people that use the invincibility mode will appear higher on the gamer score, aggregate sites, like whatever the name of the main one is. I'm like, who gives a shit? I got to be nicer than that.
Who cares?
Even the achievement hunters websites don't care. It's a specific fan section that's causing this fury.
It's like are you so tied into your achievement ranking on some aggregate website that you're going to take this away? Are you serious? Are you that tied up in your mommy's basement that you look at those sites and go, there's no way he earned all those 1,000 gamer score. He shouldn't be above me. I'm gonna come on.
I mean, there's a lot of games that have different settings now. Like Grounded, you can get rid of like the legs on the spider because of arachnophobia. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean,
and then like
the spiders are pretty extreme on ground.
Oh yeah, it's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying.
It made me run like a little bit the first time.
20 times the size of you, so
I played a game this week though, and it had the option, and it was like non-combat mode at the on the menu. It's like, do you want to play this with like shooting, or do you just want to enjoy the story? I can't remember what the game was off the top of my head. It was in the last week or so, and it was just like this mode. It doesn't have all the combat, but it has the same plot, the same story and stuff. And I was like, well, that's really cool. It's not. I wanted to play the game, but I was like, it's great that they have these options because I mean, I know people that are disabled that would probably struggle and be able to play. But then not only is it that, it's accessibility for other people as well as. Because like like my kids struggle with certain games, and if they could play like certain games with with like invincibility, they'd probably be more interested. Do you know what I mean? Not everyone plays games the same way as well. And the fact that people are trying to gatekeep this for everyone is maddening.
Like I mentioned before, the first game I ever ran into that did anything like this was L.A. Noire, which if you've never played this game, it is available at the store. It's awesome. The story is incredible.
Good game.
But for some of the sequences, if you failed it either 3 or 5 times, it'd say, hey, you're having trouble with this. You just want to skip this and get on with the story.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Especially
I loaded up a game earlier this week that did the same thing. I was having trouble and it popped up, and it was an area I knew I could get by, but it popped up and said, do you want to skip to the next checkpoint? Which basically meant, do you want to skip this part and get to the next point in the story?
Yeah,
that's awesome. More games need to do that. Seriously, especially like with story-driven games, they need to do that crap.
Like I don't know if people are just bragging about, just so angry because they are thinking like, so nobody can review any sort of games because you played on easy modes. Like I don't know, like to be honest, I think it's really just like you guys are saying. Like accessibility is always good. Bloodroot is a game that just released on Game Pass and has an invisibility mode. It has also a mode where all the enemies are already dead and you just walk through the level.
It's
Oh.
super annoying though. I mean, it was the other argument there was it's ruining their artistic vision. No one's telling them
Right.
to change the game.
Ah,
Build the game
Jesus.
exactly how they want it for a normal player, like for normal difficulty, and then just make some changes so someone can enjoy it in their own way, how they're able to. They're not. You're not
Yeah, that
fucking up anyone's artistic license by just say this main game is how we made it. This is the difficulty we built it for.
right.
Standard like hardcore sort of like if that's like a Souls game. This is the difficulty, but make it easier for those who struggle. I don't understand why that's a bad thing. There's no way it's stopping them, making them change the actual
Let us
normal
be-
game. Nothing is different.
Let us be honest. Let us be honest. There was the invisibility mode is just like one thing that almost all the games already had. Some games don't have it, but most of the games have. There is you can change the game difficulty at any time of the game. So yeah, there was something before the invisibility mode, and nobody seems to have a problem with it.
No.
But now everybody's just bragging about that for some reason.
Well, I will say that Quake Eternal, even on the tedious mode, I can't play it. Okay, I can't react fast enough. My hands don't work good enough.
Mhm.
Even on easy, and that's not a game that I think, because it's not a story driven game. It's not a game that this kind of mode would be good for, because then I'd be just running through the levels. Even for me, that's no fun, except maybe as a novelty to see. So I can see why that would. Now do I think there might be a way to make it easier so I can play it? Maybe make the hitboxes a little better, or even give me the ability to lock on a target, which just doesn't. So that's part of my problem, is I can't aim the gun and move and run at the same time. But like I said, there are some games that I will never be able to play, and I admit that, and I have no problem with that. I don't expect every game to be a cakewalk, But everybody thinks that, my God, if you put an easy mode in Souls, or on what's the other one, Sekiro, that is harder than shit.
Yeah.
That it's going to ruin the game for everybody.
I wish those games had like, I wish Sekiro. I wanted to play that game, but it's too
That game
hard.
is-
But
That game's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
even
it's
me,
just-
like, I
it's
hate those
disappointing.
games because they are. I don't enjoy those stupidly difficult, like Souls-like games. They don't appeal to me. But I'd love to be able to at least experience the graphics and the areas and the different things. But
Yeah.
it's
Uh,
behind gatekeeping again, behind stupid. It has to be hard. There's no reason it can't be
Yeah.
easier for everyone. And being easier doesn't make it any less of an achievement for beating it on hard. It's maddening.
By the way,
there's-
what's easy for you may still be very
exactly.
how
Oh no,
many-
I
how
totally
many-
agree.
How many of you have done Quake Eternal with almost no problem, and maybe you did it on Nightmare, but I can't even do it on easy. So there's always. And the other thing we've run into, if those of you followed my wall at all, is, well, I know this guy, he beat it playing with controllers with his feet. I know this guy, he beat it playing with a controller where all he could use was his breath, or he did it one-handed. You know what? Good for them. I don't give a shit. Okay, they aren't me.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not all painted with the same brush.
There's a guy on Facebook Gaming who is incredible called Nomad Gaming. I'm not sure if you guys have heard of him. He plays with no modified equipment. He plays Warzone with an Xbox controller with his face. So literally,
Wow.
his one hand is like this from his disability. The other hand he can't use. And he has a platform that holds the controller here, and he plays one with his lip and one with his cheek.
Wow.
And
Wow.
he absolutely destroys people.
Yep.
Just because he can do it doesn't mean that if from tomorrow I got disabled from the neck down, I'd be able to play games with my lip and my cheek. No chance. I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing.
That sounds
that's what-
insane.
Oh, it's amazing.
Like
if you get a chance, check him out. Honestly, it's incredible to watch him do it. Like, it is so good. But at the same time, like I know people who've done Halo lasso runs through, legendary all skulls on, and when they finally finish it, I've never heard one of them sit there and go, someone did this on easy with all the skulls off. Like that doesn't happen. Like, they don't give a shit. They're happy they finally did it.
Yeah.
So I just don't get it. Like why people gatekeeping
for those
these.
people to for those people who try to use the argument, oh, but this guy has just one hand and he managed to play the game normally. Okay, genius. Cut off one of your hands and try to play.
But that's like
Prove
like
to me that you
saying
can do it then.
that's like those people that can paint masterpieces with with a paintbrush in the mouse.
Yeah.
That means we should all never draw a picture again because we should be drawing masterpieces
Yeah.
with. It's stupid.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
literally. It's like saying you should. Like I said this online. That's like saying to someone, "How dare you use a mobility scooter to get down the street? I walked with my own legs, and you're
Yeah.
taking away my achievement to walk to the
It's
shop.
just like-
You
like,
lazy
it's
bastard!
just like-
Stop! You should grow some legs. It's so stupid and so
like,
annoying
it's-
and offensive and gatekeeping, and they should
Yeah.
fuck off.
Yep.
Like, is everyone now going to say, Microsoft, how dare you to make a accessibility controller for disabled people? Like,
Wow.
holy
Yeah,
Yeah.
I beat Halo Legendary with a normal pad. How dare they use a pad that is helping them
That
play?
was the
It's
other thing
stupid.
too. Well, you don't need this mode because other people have special controllers and stuff. The base unit for the accessibility controller is $100. And that doesn't include all the different add-ons that you need to get to make it specific to you. Okay, because I have one right here, and I don't have all the add-ons and stuff yet, and I'm not sure how I'm going to use it. It's but
They've,
it's gonna take time to sit down and go with everything and figure out what works for me.
Yeah.
And that could end up costing me a couple more $100 actually.
Oh,
There's a
I didn't know
charity
that.
in the UK who I've got. I'm in talks with them to do a video next week actually, called Special Effect. And
Right, I've heard of
they do the Xbox accessibility controllers, but they do their own software and their own controllers as well, and they help people who can't play with controllers and stuff get back into gaming. They do Stargaze, which is one of their ones. So people who have I'm not sure what the term for it now is. It used to be called locked-in syndrome. Where you can only move your eyes, you can't communicate any other way, and it tracks your eyes. And they've built games where the games you can play them using just your eyes and tracking the game. And I think that's incredible that they're going out and they're doing that and they're covering the costs for people through charity work. And I think a lot of people would be. It's some people's worst nightmare. It would be locked in and not being able to communicate. And the fact that they're able to go out and give people hope and give them games and let them enjoy themselves and still interact is incredible.
And that's the other thing too. And I didn't want to say this to any of the people that were getting mouthy with me, but there's nothing that says that 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, they won't have some problem come up where all of a sudden their left hand won't work, their right hand won't work. And all of a sudden they're going to go, well, shit, I can't game like I used to game. And they're not going to think back. Well, thanks to that guy, and people like him, that were always trying to get this better ability, better stuff, because now I can still game. And I pointed out before we've had colorblind modes and stuff for and subtitles and stuff for years, for forever.
Yep.
It feels like. The thing for focusing on people like me with physical disabilities, that's relatively new, only within the last 5-10 years. Until then, I used the same controllers you all did, and I had the limitations I have, which meant some games I just absolutely could not play.
Yeah.
And so, and that's just the way it was. I grew up starting with an Atari 2600. Even with that dinky joystick with that single button, some of the stuff was hard for me to do, but I did what I did. So the fact that we now can, not only for me, but for people that are, quote, worse off than me, or at least have, different disabilities, they can now join in the whole gaming thing. It opens up a world, guys. I mean, I'm online with you because I can do that now,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy.
I mean,
that...
my dad is colorblind, and I'm sure I've mentioned this to some of you before, but I used to play a game on the Mega CD with him called Jaguar XJ220 Racing, and it didn't have a colorblind mode, and I used to take advantage of that and cheat against him, but I was a kid. So if you needed new parts, your engine would go red, and if your part was good but hadn't broken into, you wouldn't go very fast yet. It was green, and my dad couldn't see the difference, so I used to get him to leave his broken parts on and buy replacements of the parts that weren't broken yet. But as a child, I was 8 or 9, I was kicking his ass. Best thing ever. Looking back on it now, I was maybe taking a bit of advantage of my colourblind father, but
Yeah, you were a child back then.
I grew
Hey.
up to it, you know.
Hey, Dad, you
Wow.
wanna play a game?
He could never
Wow.
understand why I was beating him. It's because I cheated every time.
Oh, the truth is out now.
I know.
Find you on
God, you're an
Facebook. I'm going to
asshole.
send it to
You're
him.
an asshole. Wow.
When your father discovers this, you are going to get grounded. That's it.
No
2
potatoes
months.
for you anymore.
I've got this one. I'm okay.
Ah, Jesus
All the
Christ.
people that are just tuning in are like, why the fuck has he got a potato?
It's very warm. Very warm.
You don't know where he had it cooking earlier, people. Don't ask.
It's the old joke, the potato Wi-Fi.
See, that's his
Yeah.
Wi-Fi.
I don't know. Like, I mean, do game developers and like companies, do they really listen to like these like a few extremists? Do they really
Yes.
listen to them?
They must
Yeah.
do, because
It's-
that's
it-
why certain companies' policies are like they are, with like exclusives and that. Because otherwise, everything would be on everything. There wouldn't be timed exclusives. There wouldn't be, the backwards compatibility would all be there. But it's the very loud minority that shout and give a lot of abuse. And unfortunately, a lot of companies, not all, but a lot of companies do unfortunately listen to it, because they daren't go against them, because they're worried about the bad press from it's always the same. If you have a positive review of something, you don't rush out onto like whatever it is when you go to a restaurant. You don't rush out to put a 5-star review on, but you rush out to put a 1-star review on. More
Yeah.
people do negatives than positives, so companies try and not get that shit, basically, which is annoying, but it unfortunately is an unfortunate truth.
The fact that Double Fine did this and they have the backing of Microsoft is actually a good thing, because that there's no amount of all that negativity that they're gonna flinch at. They're gonna go, so what? You know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully this is going to be the start, because like I said, Microsoft actually has a list that they put out to the developers. These are the things we'd like to see in your game. So hopefully this is just the beginning of what will happen with all those companies underneath that Microsoft banner. That, hey, you know what? They did it. It worked out fine. So it's probably also a test point for Microsoft and Phil themselves to say, let's see what happens here. You know,
Yeah.
I think it helps that Tim Schafer's involved as well, because that guy
Yeah.
does not give a shit about anyone's opinion. He's going to do what he does, and no matter what anyone says, he'll be like,
Yeah.
"Okay, well, don't play my game. I don't."
Well,
care."
they did
Yep.
on Twitter. They
Yep.
actually came out, the official Twitter, and were like, they took the mess out of gatekeepers, didn't they? On the like 2 tweets below that.
yeah.
And I respect them that they've actually come out and said it. And Tim don't give a shit. He will give him shit. And if he got that much shit, I would imagine he would make a game that was just an accessible mode,
Yeah.
just to fuck with people, because he's that kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
That mindset is really respectable in today's day and age, to go with your convictions and not give a fuck what anybody says.
Yeah.
We need more of that. We need more Tim Schafers in this world.
Yeah.
I think people are like, I don't know, like social media, it's become such a toxic, but like this, like ridiculous place where it's like, you can't listen to all these people. Like, and some of them they might be children. They might be
Yeah.
like 10 years old. Like, so who gives a fuck what they say? I don't know, man. I thought it had to be like millions of people had to complain for them to do something, but you know
Nope.
what I'm saying? Like, I don't get it, man.
They all hide behind
It-
fake
it-
avatars as well.
I don't get it.
It's just like TV and radio. One letter, one call equals 10,000 people or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
they kind of extrapolate stuff out. You know.
We
Because,
have
like,
in the
if-
UK, a lot of programming
know.
watched by millions of people, and it'll get
Right.
a few hundred complaints, and then it has to go to the watchdog to overview it and evaluate. And it's like, there was millions of people who didn't have a problem. Just fucking stop listening to these whiny old bastards. Like,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, what is 500 people are complaining? It was like, oh wow, 500. There's like, was there like 100 million gamers or something like that? And there are only 500 people complained. Like, who gives a shit? Like,
But the other
fuck
side
that.
of it is some of the stuff I've said, and I pointed it out in some of my responses, and the person who jumped on me comes like, "Oh, I didn't think about that." So sometimes you do kind of get through a little bit, you know,
Yeah.
when you point out that, especially like Psychonauts is more than just a platform, or more than just run and kill. That there's a story, there's puzzles. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. Yeah, okay, so shut up. Yeah, I didn't say, you know.
I mean, they make it sound like that you're like killing them or something.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They should find out all these trolls online and literally patch every single one of their games to be so hard they're uncompletable, just to fuck with them. And they're like, "You want a challenge? Yeah, don't ruin it for other people, you dicks."
Can you imagine like
Every step you
spending
take
60
now dies.
You spend $60 on like say Sekiro. Like I almost bought that game, and then like the boss, I can't beat it. Then I'm like, okay, I just wasted my money.
Yeah, it's
Ninja
not
Gaiden,
fair.
the
Everyone
first
should
one.
get to the end of every game if
Ninja Gaiden
able.
Black.
Ninja
Yeah.
Gaiden, so many
before
people
Game
didn't get
Pass,
past the first boss.
before Game Pass, I'll tell you, I bought a lot of games that I complete. You know, that's one reason I love Game Pass is I can try stuff I wouldn't normally try. You know,
Yep.
there's some early Assassin's Creed games. I don't remember which ones that right toward the end. There's some sections where you have to jump at a certain angle and hit a certain button and do it really quick and stuff. But I to this day I still can't beat it. It's not doable for me, and I paid money for that game. You know, so that happens. That used to happen to me a lot more, where I would buy a game, be excited to play it, and not be able to play it.
Yeah.
And it was very frustrating. You know. At
The
least,
comment I don't get where they say watch it on YouTube. That takes
Yeah.
this out of the equation, right?
Yep.
So this thing is designed to vibrate and react, and you have headphones on that give you that better sound than you'll get watching something on YouTube. And if you're going into a scary section of a game, you're watching somebody just walk on YouTube and you're listening to their reaction. You having to force yourself to walk into that area with that thumbstick, knowing someone's going to scare the shit out of you,
Yep.
possibly around
Yeah.
the corner, is a completely different feeling. Like, I find games much more terrifying than I do movies, because with a game, if you're scared and you stand still, the game doesn't move on. With a movie, it does, and you're waiting for something to happen. You have to physically force yourself to move into that bit, and I think they just don't think about that. Like, it's bullshit.
Do you remember Alone in the Dark on the 360 that you could skip a section if it was too difficult or too bad? No one ever had a complaint about that, and that literally let you skip entire chunks of the game, like an hour at a time or half an hour at a time. You could skip to the exact section you wanted to play, and it never penalised you, and no one ever cared back then. So it's just, I don't know, is it just because it's an Xbox studio that's doing this or something like that? There's outrage, because there shouldn't be outrage. It should be celebrated.
I'm wondering if Double Fine wouldn't have come out and said, yes, we're doing an invincibility mode, and just blasted it on Twitter, if anybody would have said anything when they released it next month.
No, I bet they wouldn't have said anything at all.
Yeah.
I also think with Alone in the Dark, most people skipped back to the shop they bought it off to trade it back in.
You didn't enjoy it?
Absolutely not.
I think Bob's playing us out of the song to.
Yeah. Can we get a champagne supernova?
Is this how we're going to finish all the podcasts now, Bob? You're going to play us out?
Copyright
Come on,
struck
Bob.
right at the end every time.
Bob, you're in Kentucky, so if I
Yes,
yell Freebird, you got to know what to do with that, right? Can you do
Yes, I know what to do with Freebird.
This song is for you, called "Shut the Fuck Up and Play Easy Games."
Ooh.
Shut the fuck up and let everybody play the way they feel comfortable playing.
No kidding.
Does anyone else have anything to say on this matter other than that you fucking fanboy gatekeeping twats can shut up and let people enjoy the games? Anyone else got anything to add to that other than what we all know. Go back to your basements. Go back to your mum's basements, your grandma's basements. Go sit in there in your command bunkers, you sad old farts, and let people enjoy themselves. Piss off. We don't want you in gaming. We don't want you.
And remember, gatekeepers, that is no longer Mountain Dew you put in that bottle. Okay, I'm just saying, you know.
I just want to say to these people who like these Souls games and they always complain that they're a bit janky and they're not quite polished and they could do with better graphics compared to the AAAs. If you made it more accessible and let more people in, you'd get more sales and you'd get better versions of your games. So just fucking, you can have an option called as intended by developer mode if you want, so you can feel special, but let other people play it, sell more, and then you get a better version the next time.
And when you finish it, it says, "Congratulations, I'm a gatekeeping twat," and that's your trophy. And that's what you get. That's on your gamer score and on your PlayStation Network profile.
Only 2% unlocked.
And it automatically blasts it on Twitter for you, even if you don't have an account. It tells everybody.
Yeah, your IP address. It takes a photo of you and sends it.
So I think we can conclude by saying that, Prom, this is a message from the XBL Party podcast to you, gatekeepers. From the bottom of our hearts, fuck you. Thank you very much. I think we can.
As people who play games, we want more people to play games. Like, I don't get what's so fucking bad about that. Like,
yeah. Anyone, whether it's disability, just age,
if you
anything,
want to complain about that, sue us.
Skill level, if you don't want more people gaming, you're the type of people that moan about people that play mobile games outnumber hardcore gamers, but you don't want those sort of people to casually come in and play console games. I don't understand you. Grow the fuck up and peace off.
Well, these are the same people that give gamers a bad name.
Yeah, exactly.
For years, we've been called like basement dwelling gremlins and whatever the hell whatever other term that people use. That's it's these kind of people that kind of they propagate that kind of sentimentality. So
probably wearing shirts that's
they don't wear shirts. They're in like fucking flannels and shit.
Speaking of shirts, I see Cerebral Paul got his 20-year Xbox shirt on here, brother. Yeah.
Right. Did you know Microsoft sent that to me as part of being part of Summit this year? So.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think that'll wrap up this episode. I don't think we can say anything nicer about it and on the matter.
Mm-hmm.
A big thank you
to. I'm joking. But if you're someone who wants people kept out of games because they can't do it, and you watch this show on a space movie, whatever the fuck it's called, not Stellaris, the other fucker. It's like you can't hear anyone because it's too loud, and you failed basic physics, then fuck off, because you don't deserve to get in there because you don't understand what's going on, okay? You're not college football.
Wow. All this happened because
okay.
All this happened because he has a crotch potato. I don't,
Yeah.
You'll get the crotch potato. That's what you'll get for being a gatekeeper.
Crotch potatoes.
A bowl of crotch potato mash.
Until I saw the potato, I thought we were talking about Fabio's internet again.
No, we're talking about the cool potato that the Ginner was keeping his balls cool with because it's so hot in the UK right now. Hottest day ever in Ireland today, and it's the hottest day this year, I think.
So if he offers you fish and chips tonight, say no.
Skin chips, anyone?
Yeah, no, they probably already taste like they got malted vinegar on them. But no.
Oh my god.
But a big thank you to everyone in the comments. You've been very active today. Thanks to everyone who's liked and checked us out. Big thank you to all you guys for joining us. Big thank you to Paul for being a special guest.
Thank you so
coming on
much.
and talking about such an important topic. Big thank you to just everyone who listens to this later on YouTube and on Spotify. You guys keep coming back, so big thank you. Next week, as I've said earlier, is our 6 months since we started the podcast. So yeah, I can't believe you're all still here listening to us talk about sweaty potatoes, but here we are. The important matters in gaming.
I might not be here for our 6-month anniversary. Who knew? Not like me to this one. I will leave a potato and a camera in my place. Okay,
That's
I'll
it.
just put some ginger hairs on it. You'll be fine.
I won't be here
Gross.
next week. My week
No.
off week.
It's gonna be a smaller episode next week. We'll go back to basics. I don't think Slayer's here either next week, so
I'm not sure yet. I may be. I may-
at this
I'll
rate,
see-
it's
I'll
going to
see
be
what
like
I
the
can do.
first few episodes, Fabio. It's going to just be a couple of us. But
Bob has to work next week.
big thank
I'll
you
try
to
my best to get
everyone,
here.
and we'll be back next week. We had a week off last week, but we'll be back next week. 8 p.m. British BST time on Saturday. What is that in your local times for everyone? Because I always forget.
It is
Thank
3
you.
p.m.
For me, it's 5 hours earlier, so it started at 3 p.m. my time. So
Mhm.
We got a
4
bunch of
p.m.
Easterners.
Brazilian time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 p.m. Eastern time. So make sure you join us. We'll be live on YouTube. We have a giveaway to go on Twitter, which will be going up in the next day or so, like I've said, for a free game. And I did promise when we hit 500 followers on Twitter, we've got a signed Borderlands 3 poster to give away. We are currently sat at 499 right now, unless someone's unfollowed us like a twat. So
Yep.
come on.
Oh,
One
man.
more like and follow on Twitter, and we will give away a signed Borderlands 3 poster on the next episode as well. So
Yep.
you know you want it. You just text a little
Paul, do you
subscribe.
follow us?
What?
I said, Paul, do you follow us?
Oh,
do you
follow us.
so you can put us to 500.
Yeah, Paul, you
I'm
can make
already
the
following.
500.
I can unfollow and refollow, but that's not going to help. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Can I set up a quick account for Twitter Potato and join?
There you go.
That's
That's
Yeah.
it. Gatekeeping
Do it.
potato.
A Twitter bot's called Wi-Fi Potato.
That's
That's
it.
it.
But yeah,
The white crotch potato.
Crushed potatoes.
it'd be like those people that have
so
Instagram accounts for the cats. You can have it for the potato, and you can just put it out and stuff like that. Look, it's
Only
grown
fans
its
for
first
50 a
growth.
month, okay?
The potato in different places.
Yeah.
I've got a great idea for the show next week. We should have it. We play Grounded, but we have to like try to get each other killed.
That won't take long.
Or see who we could set up, like get a spider to like have a spider like try to follow you and then try to kill someone else or something like that.
For the giveaway, if you like, we can not only give you the signed poster, but Gina can send his potato to you. So yeah.
With this
No.
potato.
Good
No.
God, no.
Really, I will send this potato if somebody wants it.
It's going on
You
his
won't
OnlyFans
want-
account.
You will not wash it
Only
either. It'll
fans.
come with original Gina smell.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Right,
Jesus.
I'm wrapping this episode
Finish
up
it.
before it descends into even more madness.
Finish
Oh
Thank
my
God.
Thank you very
50
much,
years
everyone.
from now, you'll be able to clone a Jinner from this potato, okay?
It'll just look like a giant knob.
Oh man.
Thank you so much for
Oh.
watching, everybody.
Oh, that's
Bye-bye.
gross.
Bye, everybody.
Bro.
Thanks for watching,
everybody.
everybody. We'll see you
Oh.
next week.